So should we start the show with a song? Because we did get some requests for a song to start off with.
We surely did. At the deep sadness of everyone who requested it, not knowing what they've asked for.
Yeah. Respawn, how's your singing voice today?
My voice itself is non-existent, as you can tell. So, singing or otherwise.
So who have you been screaming at? Everyone? Everything?
Nobody really. I've actually been pretty chill. I've been on PTO for basically all of December. So I've been hanging out, just chilling.
Well, I missed all of that again. I went, Respawn, how's your singing voice? And then there was just silence, and I thought you were doing a bit. And it's like,
if the bit is I don't have a voice, then yes, I was.
But no, I thought it was a bit until there was no Peroty speaking as well. And then I was like, this is not a bit. This is...
Something's happening.
This is Discord going, you're not talking, they're not hearing you. Good day, sir.
One extremely annoying shift later.
Can you hear me now?
Keep talking. You're quiet, but yes.
Quiet? Oh, God.
Well, no, I mean, we can hear you, but you're clear. But see if that's... Keep talking and see if we can continue to hear you and if you can continue to hear us.
Because I don't know if this is something wrong with... Do I put the output or do I do the input volume? Output volume, maybe. Do I... Or am I still really quiet?
You are quiet, but at least you're...
Yeah, I mean, you're quieter, but you're very clear. Like, I can I can hear you just fine. Like you're perfectly loud enough for me to hear you when you can be heard.
Like a little bit closer. Does that sound better?
Yes, much.
Is it?
Well, it was. Maybe I was just listening really hard.
I mean, you sound louder. You sound fine. I mean, I think you sound fine either way.
Yeah, you sounded fine. It's your volume level that's the problem.
I don't know what it is then.
Don't you dare robot out.
Could I gain up some more?
As long as I'm not roboting out, that's all I care about today. I've had enough now. This is it.
Yeah. We'll just put a video of just us standing in the tower for 2 hours. Like, drinking tea and dancing and call it done. Be like, listen, it's been a year. We're at the same point Destiny is. Mostly working, a little broken inside, and here you go. Enjoy.
Yeah. So with that, I'll roll the titles then, because we might as well get started.
Might as well.
Welcome to Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast. Dedicated in bringing you all the latest information, news, and opinions. This is the best show for new and veteran Guardians alike, where we share tips, tricks, and tools to help you succeed and enjoy playing even more. So with all that said, let me hand you over to your hosts, the Triumph Hunting Titan Nitedemon, the pink-panted pansy Peroty, and your Hunter Master Ranger, Mr. No One Respawns in Real Life!
We are not streamers nor YouTubers. We are professional nothings. We are 3 AAR PvP players trying to tell you what Destiny is going to do next, which is simply impossible because even Bungie does not know. What's going to happen next? I don't know. Is it going to be Supremacy and Hardware Supremacy up this week? Yes. Is Trials going to be on the proper map? No way to be sure.
See, I was so not sure whether it was going to be a double Supremacy. I thought, are they going to leave Hardware Supremacy like we were discussing last week with the rotations of? They said that they were going to put in something else for the end of the year. And we were like, are they going to stick with 2 weeks of Hardware Supremacy and then put what they said they were going to do for the end of the year, and still put in still put in Supremacy because it was one of the challenges? I was like, I'm going to go with my gut of yes, that we're not going to even twig that there's double Supremacy because our player base is so low. They're not even going to moan about it. They're just going to go, I'm not playing it. Either one.
No one's going to even know. It'll be fine. No one even is around to know that there are 2 flavors of Supremacy. I looked because I was like, I need to go do some Pathfinders. I need to hop into something. Let me see what the Crucible modes are up. Like I played some Hardware Supremacy last week. Enjoyed it well enough. Again, it's no abilities at all. So it's like a non-Destiny PvP, purely gunplay. I was like, well, that was fun. Let me go see what my other options are this week. Regular Supremacy. Okay, that's certainly a choice, which I don't really want to play if I've been playing Hardware Supremacy. But sure, Bungie, give me two options. You couldn't have given me two different game modes for the next 2 weeks? No.
You're actually kind of spoiled there, Peroty. That's what I'm saying.
I really am. I really am spoiled.
So hopefully this is working and you can hear me and you can hear my colleagues as we are welcoming you to our Christmas and New Year's show. Because this year I've been talked into having at least one show off. So welcome. I am Nitedemon, joined by Peroty and Mr. Croaky No One Respawns in Real Life.
That's mean. That's mean.
How's that mean? You're croaky.
Because I'm sensitive about the way that I sound, man. And here you are. We're not even 30 seconds into the show. You're already taking pot shots at me. It's the season to be kind to one another. And you're just being a mean little elf.
No, me and Peroty are always kind to you. We are the kind titans that always look after our little hunter.
Is that what happens? When does that start?
Always. Who took you in? Who took you in when nobody else would take you in? We took you in. Who's looked after you for the last 6 years? We have. Who's given you a little home?
Has it been 6 years? No, it hasn't. Has it?
Who's given you a home to come back to each and every week to join us? We have. You guys have gone quiet again.
Because I'm stunned.
Oh, okay. That's all right then. Don't go quiet on me because I'm freaking out because there's no Peroty talking, and if you go quiet, that's not like Peroty.
Well, if Peroty is screwing with you, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
No, I was just enjoying the heartfelt moment. That's all. I was just soaking in the heartfelt moments of camaraderie and end of year
soaking in the BS,
end of year joy. Yeah.
Yeah, we started this. Was it 2019?
Mm-hmm.
So we're coming up on 6 years
before the end of the world.
Yeah. Which one?
Pick one.
Okay. Because we're in a multiverse always.
Well, I'm pretty sure they've all ended at this point. It's all gone wrong.
Destiny started a multiverse just because everybody else has got a multiverse going. We just why not?
Hey, Peroty, you play like farming games and simulators and stuff, right?
Squirrel!
Yeah.
If you had to classify like an animal drop versus a non-animal drop, like a stone, right? Would you do like
animal drop?
I mean,
I'm confused.
How would you? So like, if you had to say, hey, put all the monster drops here, everything else here. Everything else be for you.
Oh, like loot from things.
Yeah.
I mean, seeds, fruits, vegetables, acorns. Anything else you're collecting?
No, all the food stuffs is upstairs. This is like ore and wood and crafting supply type stuffs.
Yeah,
but you can craft with food too, so crafting is a misnomer.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd be like, there's food crafting and there's non-food crafting. Yeah, and if you're like rocks and wood and all that, rocks, wood, or I'd throw all that together and just be like, these are like, things you have to go harvest in the world and to craft with, or building materials or something like that.
Gotcha. So I'm just put monster and non-monster.
Mark that squirrel moment number 1 for the show. And this
is gonna be pure squirrel moment.
It's not.
It is
not the squirrel moment. I'm doing very important things.
We were having the heartfelt moment. We were doing the opening of the show, and then you just.
We were having a heartfelt. You were blowing smoke up my like a professional. Okay, it sounds sweet, but
that's only he can.
But I'm not falling for it. Whenever I'm not playing Destiny, I'm playing this really stupid addictive game. I guess it's like
Fortnite.
Destiny 2? Destiny
2 is what
Rising?
I'm at, when I'm not playing Destiny 2.
No, when you're not playing
I don't
Destiny,
even have access to Destiny
2,
Rising.
and then Destiny Rising. There are no other games. We've been over this.
I don't have Destiny Rising. I don't have access to it. So
no, we don't have access to it.
No.
But yeah, so this show is just there's not going to be any timestamps to this. It's just going to be all higgledy piggledy all over the place. And
It's going to be straight
I
chaos.
need you to do me a favor. Can you say that one more time?
which word? Higgledy piggledy.
There it is.
We're not going to dive into Britishisms, are we? Because
I mean, there's a chance.
You don't
We-
need
I
any.
mean, this
I'm
show
pretty
is no holds barred, so who knows
Yeah.
at this point?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you said this show could be anything and everything. So it could be a deep dive into Britishisms.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, and the
we'll
fact that
continue
you
our little
won't let
chin
us do
wag.
that is kind of mean. What if people need to know these things, right? What if somebody's going to England and you are the only source of Britishisms that they have to work
Heaven
on?
help them. Heaven help them is what I say, basically.
Wow.
You played some Destiny this week, Peroty. You were saying that you played some Trials, did you?
I did. I did, and maybe what I said before will be there. Maybe it won't. But yeah, I played some Trials because I was like, I have to give Saint 40 some cookies anyway, so might as well go down and see what he's up to. And I mistakenly thought this was the week where it was the one Warlock, one Titan, and one Hunter per team, which I think was actually last week. So
No. I think it's the week coming up.
Or is it? Okay, I remember seeing it, but I didn't remember when, because again, it's Trials, and I go, oh, look, a Trials bit of information. Right over my head it goes. So,
Yeah.
But I played a bit. Again, I just solo queued going. I haven't played since like the first week or something, when I went down to say, oh, look, I have engrams that I held over from last season or whatever. And it was like, additional Trials rep week, and I wanted the weekly challenge done. So I was like, let me jump in and play. Let me see how bad this is going to go. And it actually wasn't as bad as I had feared. Like, did I still lose the majority? Absolutely. Like, again, there's no thoughts of maybe I'll go to the lighthouse. No, absolutely not. There was lots of losing, but there was more winning than I expected. Like, it seemed like, and the losing I was doing wasn't like 5-0, 5-0, 5-0, 5-0, 5-1, 5-0. Like, it wasn't just getting steamrolled over and over again. I was solo queuing with 5 other people also solo queuing, and it actually ended up being fairly close matches. I mean, it still ended up being whoever had the best single player on their team, and sometimes we had the Hoppy Hunter, or sometimes we had just the I'm going to steamroll you Titan, or sometimes we had the I'm going to floof over you Warlock and nuke you from space, or the guy who's like, I'm going to run a Hellion, I'm going to run a Arc Buddy, I'm just going to come in with a fire team of myself and wipe the other team out before they even know it hit them.
This dude said a fire team of myself.
He's like, I don't need other people. He's like, I'm going to bring the buddies with me, and I'm going to do this myself.
Oh
and
my God,
so
those
actually
buddies are
won
awful
like a
in PvP
decent,
too.
So like actually won like a decent amount of games. They got the weekly challenge done pretty quickly. Like, got a couple of hand cannons, which I don't care about the hand cannons, whatever. But I'm like, I'm getting rank. I'm getting packages. I could open for some more summoners or something before the season ends. But yeah, actually didn't have as bad a time as I had feared. And then, now I don't understand how this happened, because I was trying to do Excision, just a regular Excision with Panoramics yesterday.
Yeah,
because he had some time, I had some time. We're like, can you get a pinnacle out of that? Because I think he was saying you could get a pinnacle out of doing the regular one, and I couldn't remember. And of course, the game doesn't say. So we're like, let's
if
just
the game
try it.
doesn't say, then I don't think it does, because normally we'll say on the director when you highlight it now what you actually get from it.
Okay, yeah, and like it didn't when we selected it, but I was like, do you really not give me one, or is this just an instance of Destiny going, we'll never tell? So we tried to get in there, and I mean, I was like, will we even find 12 people trying to do Excision in this day and age? Maybe. So we tried once and just got, found 12 people, got stuck on a loading screen, never made it in. Change character, go back in, load it up again. With us being the different host, we're only, 50 miles away, if that. So changing host for us isn't super useful, but hey, we'll see what happens. Change host, loaded up, got in, until all of a sudden I was throwing grenades and no grenade was being thrown. I was using my abilities and no animations were coming out of my character, and then we all got birded to orbit. I said, okay, going great. So he said, let's try a third time, because why not? We're sucker for punishment. Third time, got in past the first stage to the witness fight part.
Yeah.
Then the same thing started happening. I'm going, I just threw a grenade that wasn't there. I just fired a rocket that didn't exist. Yep, there's the bird error again. So gave up on that. I never did get around to doing the Ergo Sum catalyst with the Grandmaster Excision.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here fully convinced I have missed my shot because there seriously will not be 12 people trying to do this in this day and age in Destiny right now. But I did see, so I went to the fire team. I'm sort of like, glancing at the fire team finder every couple of days, just going, is anybody looking? Has anyone put even trying to put a group together for this? And, there have been one or two that I've sort of showed interest in, but it never got above like 3 people. So the person just disbanded it.
Yeah.
Yesterday I was like, I've got some time. This guy's got a group going. Let's see what happens. So put my name in. Then a third guy showed up. And I was like, okay, well, there's 3 of us. So let me go back to running. I think we tried to run Contest of Elders, so you can see if that would work any better. And I was like, Pan, put your name in. Let's see where this goes. He's like, it's a Grandmaster. I go, yeah, it'll be 12 of us. I'm like, we're gonna fail it. It's gonna go terribly. It's gonna be an absolute nightmare. And that's assuming we can even get through it, given our experience with the Excision at this point, where the game just kicks us all out of it.
Yeah.
So we're like, well, let's just see what happens. So we ran a Contest of Elders, and then I keep seeing people, people's name pop up in the corner. Okay, we're getting closer. We're at 8 and 9 and 11, and okay. So then it was like, all of a sudden it was like connecting with fire team. I was like, oh, okay, I guess we're going.
We're going.
So that was on the screen for a while. And Pan was like, I'm in here. Where are you? I'm like, I still am in the Contest of Elders, but with a big giant thing on my screen that says connecting with your fire team. So I'm assuming I'm coming to join you, since I can't do anything else, really. I can't manually do it. Yeah. And then it finally did drag me in there too. Ran, got it up, got it running, took a crack at it, got to the witness. We as a collective team did not deal with the witness's attacks very well and lost all of our revives very quickly.
Yeah.
And failed it pretty quickly after that. So where I was like, yeah, that's about what I expected going on. At that point, Pan had to go wander off, and I was like, well, let's see how many of these people stick around. And we lost, probably about half the group. I think there was like 6 of us left.
Yeah.
Still in the original group. I was like, let's just see. Let me hang out for a minute. Let me go refresh my drink and do a couple things around the house, and let me just come back and see if we're able to find people. Came back, found more people. It's like, okay, we're back up to 10, back up to 12. All right, let's try this again. Went in again, started out real rough. Like half the team died, like immediately, like rallying to the flag, like almost immediately got wiped. And it was like, okay, so this is again what I expect. These are my expectations. But then we kind of got it together, kind of got our, collectively picked ourselves up, dusted ourselves off. There was one guy who was sort of put the group together, was sort of directing us via the text chat, like, hey, let's focus on the right, let's focus on the left, sort of, do this side first, do that side first, focus on the tormentor here, giving us some vague like direction.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, everybody trying to run in different directions or 12 people trying to talk over each other, because that always works oh so well. So got through the first part, no problem. Got to the witness, again, lost a number of people at the first revive, at the first, series of attacks.
Yeah.
Then kind of settled down, then kind of got into a nice little rhythm. Then we kept, we would lose a person, lose another one, got down. I think I was like one of the 5 left. Then I was a little too slow at one point, got zapped off the platform, down to 3 people. The witness probably had like a quarter of the health left, maybe a little less. Yeah. And I was like, and the text has just like, the other people on keyboards, both cheering them on and both being like, let's see what happens. Let's see how this goes. One person was just like tap firing divinity. One person was like just jumping back and forth with, I don't remember what they were using, SMG or something. Somebody had a scout rifle pulse or something. And they were just like in a rhythm, just attack, dodge. One person was like crouched in like the very front right corner that was sort of out of the way of both of like the side beams. And they sat there and they clutched that thing for us. The 3 of them over and over and over. No, none of the 3 of them died the rest of the way I threw. They just sat there and clutched it for us. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. And I got this done that I had no thought that it was actually going to happen. I was like, there's no way this is going to happen. We're not going to find competent people or even enough people to do this. But we got it done. And that was awesome. So that was my awesome gaming moment of the week. Got my Ergo Sum Catalyst now.
Nice. And what
Found
does it
12
do?
people to
Do you
do
know
it.
what it does?
I don't remember because I need to go get killed with the ergo sum now. But I've been
went,
using the
"What
ergo
was
sum,
that?"
and I'm going. Well, now
Yeah.
I need to go get the catalyst.
Oh,
Obviously,
God, what's it do? I don't know.
I don't know. It
doesn't
does
matter.
something. I just
Listen.
got it. It's fine.
listen. Nitedemon puts everything in the vault. I just need to have all the things.
Sure.
Sure. Well, I did see an interesting video this week from Sticky MZ on TikTok, and he kind of reiterated what we talked about, like over and over again. Like I think even back about a month ago, where he was saying that Destiny 2 players are leaving because there's no challenge there. There's no like that we've got the exotics are just given to us like candy, which is what we've said a lot of times. The like you're given participation trophies for kind of just showing up now, just like, but with going back to Destiny 1, it was all about the grind. It was all about logging in and doing your dailies each week to get to your pinnacles. It was, going and doing your raids to see if you could get your exotic that was only available. You'd only get an exotic at certain points, like the Nightfalls and your raids. And maybe if you were playing Crucible or just out in the wild, it'd be a random drop, like 1 in a billion kind of thing. And that's kind of gone from Destiny 1 and Destiny 2. It's like, we'll just give you everything. We're just going to give you everything. And now that Bungie are kind of pulling back on that, with saying, right, you're not having crafting this season. You have to kind of grind for your roles. The players that have kind of come in mid-cycle for Destiny 2 are now the ones that are whining that why have you taken crafting away? Why have you taken just given me everything for free kind of thing away? We don't like that. And the existing players that have been here since day one that like the grind, that don't like the just give us everything, are the ones that aren't happy that there's kind of two kind of player bases. He was saying it's like you've got the OG people that like the challenge, that are always here to see the grind and go through it, but they don't like you're just going to give me an exotic every single like playlist that I can kind of go in, like 9 exotics each week kind of thing, and you're going to give me eventually you'll give me all the, like, even what you were saying, Peroty, like Bungie will eventually do something for you. If you wait long enough, they will give you raid weapons. If you wait long enough, they'll give you this. I mean, as an example, this past week, they've given you a masterworked holiday oven. And I know that's only because they've had issues because of like the dawning and things, and we're not going to get back into that. But
Wait, they just gave the thing?
they've masterworked everybody's holiday oven.
They masterworked everyone's oven. And then also said you may not see the gold border around it, but they did masterwork every oven in the game.
So it reduces the cost of the cookies kind of thing for everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, you wait long enough, they give it to you. And that wasn't the way Destiny was in the beginning. And I think that's why a lot of players have like the OG players have turned away from it, because they don't like just being given everything. They like to be here for the grind each week and doing their raids religiously and doing their dungeons that they could do, their nightfalls and everything else to try and get to the pinnacles. But where Bungie and Destiny have kind of tried to get the casual players in and get more and more players in to kind of just give them everything, that's also hurt the player base. And I totally agree with what he was saying about this. And I thought it was quite interesting that more and more people are seeing this, that Bungie should go back to being more of a grindier game, because it's more fun to kind of get people together to go and grind to see if you can get it. And that person that always gets the Galahorn, he's got like 6 in his vault, and he's sitting there deleting them and laughing at you as you haven't got your Galahorn. Is kind of
and sending you video clips of it.
Yeah, it was one of those kind of things. And the cadence of stuff that we get, it's quite funny, because again, I was listening to another podcast this week. They were talking about, let me get this the right way around. They were moaning that there was too long. That was it for Season of the Wish, because it was such a long. I think it was like 18 weeks, wasn't it, for that season? And they were like, "Oh, it's too long a season. It's it just went on and on forever and ever." And then literally a couple of minutes later in their show, they were talking about, well, they wouldn't mind if Bungie took more time to kind of do their releases. And I'm thinking, that doesn't correlate. I'm not being horrible, but if you're moaning that the seasons are too long, and then you're saying you don't mind Bungie, cooking on what they're doing in the oven before they release it to make it good, there's going to be downtime and times where seasons grow to like stupid amount of length of time because they can't keep up that content all the time.
Players want Bungie to cook, but they want them to cook microwave dinners. They want them to cook, and they want it to be really fast, so they can just need to be shoveled in food. And that's like I mean, we've said this before. I would love if they would just say, hey, like for the next 6 months, we're doing bug fixes and quality of life changes. We're going to buckle down and say, at the end of the 6 months, we'll also give you, do it before a bigger release. So there's a carrot at the end of that stick. Say, hey, you're going to get something really nice at the end of this. But all the bugs, all the issues, all the slowness in the game, we're gonna buckle down and fix all of that.
Yeah.
And we're gonna give you, release notes every week, every 2 weeks or every month or whatever it is, and say, here's all the things we fixed. Here's all the little niggling issues that you keep running into that are driving you nuts. Or we're gonna get all that fixed. So then going forward with the game, it'll be on so much better a platform and in so much better a state to build on top of, like without having to be on the treadmill of must have new content, must have new activities, must have all this new stuff that the people who play all the time will be done with in the first day, and the rest of us will go, we'll enjoy it for while it's here, but then it still eventually get burned out on it because you can only play the new activity so many times. I mean, I would love it if they said, hey, the dawning next year is going to be the same thing, but you'll be able to earn like the spirit and things throughout all activities, and it will scale like to the difficulty of that activity properly.
Yeah.
All these seasonal events, you're going to be able to do any activity in the game, and you will get the currency from it, and it will scale to a reasonable level. So if like everyone said this year, hey, I'm just going to go farm Dull and Carnu over and over and over again, or I could just go play the game regularly and get materials. Well, if I could just go in an hour and get piles of the materials in one farming place, why would I gotta do other things? Incentivize me to play the game as it is, and just all the little bug fixes, all the things that are going to take time to fix. Like I said, the team really has to dig in on and figure out what's going on. Give them that time to really dig in and figure out what's going on, and not without having to shovel new content out the door so constantly that isn't is what people maybe say they want, but I don't think it's what people actually want.
No. And when has it got to the point? I mean, I'm not having a dig at Bungie and Destiny at all, but it seems to have got to the point with this game that we don't put in, I mean, for a very long time, we haven't put map packs in. We haven't gone, right, for this DLC or this update or this expansion, you're getting 3 new Crucible maps that have different locations that do different things, or a Gambit map, or heaven forbid we get a new strike or just something. I mean, you have to go back and look at Destiny 1 when I know that it was different with the House of Wolves and the Dark Below, but when we had the game, it was like, well, you've got these maps and you've got these strikes, but with Dark Below, you're going to get a raid, you're going to get X number of strikes, you're going to get X number of maps for Crucible. And then the House of Wolves came, you get the kind of same thing. You didn't get your raid, but you got the trials and you got more maps for your PvP. You got more maps or more strikes and more places to do. And as the kind of game got bigger and bigger, more things were kind of put into it. We got a whole new, like the Plaguelands with more strikes in the Plaguelands on the Cosmodrome. And it's got to the point, we now don't ever see that with an expansion, and I'd like to see that kind of come back. Them say, right, with Apollo and Behemoth coming up, you're going to get 3 new maps for Crucible in Apollo and 3 in Behemoth. Then you're also going to get new strikes. You're also going to get new location, but not just the one strike. I mean, we got one strike with, I think it's Liminality, isn't it, with a Pale Heart. That's it. It's like, well, why can't we have more strikes? Why can't we? I know you've got the Excision thing, but then that's its own separate thing from that. And the Final Shape was this big grand thing, and the reason they had to, it was a really good thing, expansion, was because they took those 18 weeks extra, or those extra weeks where we had that big long break with Season of the Wish, to kind of finish off doing what they were doing. And in that meantime, we got Into the Light, which was taken out of some of the expansions for, I'm guessing, for the Echoes. So with not just Echoes, and Revenant, which you can kind of see that these are kind of lighter seasons. But I think if they had that Into the Light stuff now, they would have been fantastic. People would have gone over just beyond belief. They would have gone, oh my god, I've got the final shape. Then Echoes came and they brought Onslaught, and then say Revenant brought the Pantheon kind of thing, and we've got all of this, and then we've got Prison of Elders back. I think it would have changed the perception. Would have changed the perception of the game and how it kind of prolonging of the game, but where they've kind of had to keep the player base entertained or kind of give them something in between so that they could say, right, we've already got that already baked. We can give them that, and we can say it's this expansion and say it's free to all players. And that will hopefully keep them kind of entertained over a certain period of time while we finish on the final shape. We do up what we want to do on Echoes and Revenant, and then whilst the final shape's out and Echoes is out, we can then work on Heresy to get that out of the gate and do the good stuff in that as well. So hopefully Heresy's going to be really good. But like I was saying last week, I mean, I'm giving them a kind of like a pass for like what's actually happened in the studio and them going forward. And I'd like to see it kind of change to that it is more grindier and there are longer periods that they don't put stuff in the game. But when they do an expansion or they give us like a DLC or something, they go, right, you're going to get new maps in Crucible. That will refresh Crucible. We will give you maybe a new Gambit map. Well, I mean, what's the harm in working out a Gambit map? There's no harm whatsoever.
What's the harm in giving us the ones back we had before? Just put the rest of the one back in. Yeah, maybe they're a little unbalanced. Maybe they're not perfect, but something is better than nothing in these cases. Again, like it's not a full on PvP in game. Let me go and taunt the other team with how good I am activity. It's something for people to play. In what we've been talking about is an investment in your core game. That you talk about the ritual playlist and the core of the game of Crucible, Vanguard, and Gambit. Make those investments in that core. Or if you give me a map, I can play that map infinitely. I like what they've been doing with the Crucible and doing the different modes. You don't need to make me 17 different game modes. I mean, I wouldn't turn those down either, but add the hardware, add the momentum, add the modifiers to the different game modes. Yeah. Then, mix that with different maps, find some fun, map and mode combinations to feature as, things weekly or, periodic events like you do with Iron Banner, give people something to look forward to. And something that popped to my brain when you were talking about, Into the Light with the Onslaught and the Pantheon coming out sort of as that Into the Light, bundle. I really like how they did that because it gave something for, all players to go through. An Onslaught, here's something you can focus. Here's a time limited thing. There's a little bit of FOMO, a little bit of you had to be there, which I don't always like, but I do like that there was the motivation, as a player to go play it and say, hey, you could get these shiny weapons. You could get these double perked weapons, in this moment in time. And then for, which again, that, for everybody playing. And then for the players who want a challenge, the players who are playing this, professionally all day, every day, giving them a Pantheon, again, same thing, time limited challenge, but something hard, something end game, something, you could really test your mettle against where, maybe you've run these raids 1,000 times and it all seems very familiar, but putting twists on it going, you think you know what you're going to get, but no, here's the twist you need to do to be successful with this. And giving both of the, because Bungie has always, has tried to say, we need to give the hardcore players and the casual players something that gave each end of that spectrum something to go do. And everybody could engage in Onslaught, and you could certainly go try to engage in Pantheon, but it was definitely something for the hardcore crowd. Or groups of friends saying, "Hey, I want to put a team together and give this a shot. Maybe we'll succeed, maybe we won't, but it's something to aspire for, and it's not something as time consuming and as like trying to do an entire raid necessarily, and something that may be more you'll get loot out of, you'll get something out of it for your time investment."
Yeah. What I also liked with Destiny 1 is when they've always talked about this, that when they created the raids, they always made the raids a lot harder than what they kind of released them as, so that they could then come back and do a master raid and that all challenged, people that had already done the normal version to come back and get like borrowed versions in the Kingsfall raid of those weapons and better versions of the weapons that are available. And I'd like to kind of see them do that, like going forward. Not saying make the raids and the dungeons easy, but make them so that you can then upgrade them and do like a master version, rather than kind of just go, we're going to throw champions in there, or now we're going to throw the Banes in there just to make it a little bit harder. Change up the way that you have to do things, which is what they did with a lot of the raids in Destiny 1, is that you did normal version, but the harder version, you had to do things like the Bungie way. I mean, we did find ways around it, but initially it was kind of, you had to do the raid the way that they intended it to do so that you could kind of get through it. But I like that. I enjoyed the kind of the not having to do the seasons and following everybody else's suit. Let's follow the rest of the flock and go, let's add a battle pass and let's add this and let's add. It's like Destiny 1 at its core was just like, you play the game, and the more you play the game, the more you're kind of rewarded because you're in there playing it a lot more. Not, oh, I've got to level X on my battle pass and I've got all these things kind of thing. No, I want it in the game to grind for, because that will keep me coming back daily to kind of work on my character and work on, just playing and enjoying the game. And I mean, I've got to give him props this past Iron Banner, because you were talking about Iron Banner. So the map rotation for this past Iron Banner was really, really good. It didn't just stick to like the 3 or 4 maps that they kind of wanted you to play on. There were a lot of variations with different maps coming up and different kind of areas. It wasn't kind of, oh, we're just going to be stuck on the EDZ and just play these maps. It was, maybe one on the Dreaming City, then on the EDZ, then Mars, and then it was really nice balance of kind of a mixture of maps, and I really enjoyed it this past time.
Yeah, it was a nice mix of like, and not only that, but here's some short range, here's some longer range.
Yeah,
it was a good variety of going, well, here's a loadout, here's my auto rifle, pulse rifle loadout I've been running with. This worked really well here. Oh, this is not going to work so well here. So I like the variation. Again, it's just it's the investment in core playlists, giving me more opportunities, giving me more maps to play with. I'm still going to sit in this playlist. It's the same game mode, but playing it in different places, absolutely changes how you have to play it. Even though Bungie brought back the Dreaming City map to Gambit, I feel like I hadn't seen it forever. I feel like I see it, once every play session. Like yeah. I'll play 10 Gambit matches and I'll see it come up once, maybe twice. The other day I saw it a whole bunch. Like I think I got it 3 or 4 times in a row, and it felt really nice. Like it felt like this brand new map, even though I've played on this map plenty of times in the past. But it felt like having this brand new map, and I get to make sure I don't consecrate myself into the hole between the 2 sections again. And it felt good just playing, again, a very familiar game mode, but just in a new place. It was just a really nice change of pace.
With that Gambit map, nothing seems to have changed for them to have taken it out of the game because they said it was unbalanced, to then bring it back. Have you noticed anything different about it? Because I've played it a limited amount of times, but it still seems the same map. It's not like they've pushed it out further, or there's different spawn locations for like the enemies and things. It's quite a small map, so I'm not understanding what they've changed in it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I feel like there was a problem before where you would get. I think maybe they moved some of the spawns up closer in the room where you initially spawn into, because I distinctly remember before getting caught in that room, like by a skilled invader that'll kill you and sort of wait in that room or just outside that room for you to come out. I feel like that I have not seen happening, even though I've been respawning on that map with invaders that were good and nearby. So I think they just moved some of the spawns forward in there a little bit, and they may have adjusted the positioning. I'm not sure. But I mean, it doesn't feel like it plays much different. Like I definitely don't notice it being a lot different when I play through it.
Respawn?
Yes, dear.
Any thoughts?
On which part?
On all of it.
Destiny
well, I haven't played enough Gambit to give any insights on that, so there's that.
No, just in
Um,
Destiny overall for the year. I mean, it's been a fantastic year with the final shape. The seasons or the episodes haven't lived up to it, but we know the real reasons because of that. But yeah, what's your
well,
take on it?
overall, I do think that like the problem. God, we always go back to this. The problem is not really the game because I like playing the game, right?
Yeah.
The aggravating part, at least for me right now, is not having anywhere to put my cool new toys, you know? And that aspect, barring every other issue that I have in the game, like there's a lot of issues that I just kind of deal with when it comes to Destiny, right?
Yeah.
But my biggest complaint is just the storage, man. Like, yes, I have all these cool toys, but like, what do I do with them? So, like, right now, I used to love baking cookies. Well, I still like baking cookies, right? And my baker title is gilded every season. And this year I went in, I looked at the weapons, and I'm just like, I already have versions of this or better than this, right? And I just have been nonchalant about it, you know? And it's just how it is. Like if I had more slots, I'd be like, yes, I want that roll because it's on this gun, right? Or something like that, Or I'll keep this gun because I don't know when it'll come back in the season. Maybe the other version will get nerfed and this one will be good at that point. Whatever, right? Or maybe this one will get different rolls in the future. Who freaking knows? But the point is I don't have anywhere to put my cool stuff. So I'm just like, you know, because I have to go in there and I have to take the time right now before doing anything else to clean my vault to make room. I've just been avoiding it. I didn't even bother really playing this season. Last
Yeah.
week I played all day after the podcast. And honestly, since then I haven't really touched it, because I don't have any room for anything else without having to clear my vault. And like I've said many times, I've only got one copy of each gun. And in rare instances, I have a PvP version and a PvE version, right? But those are few and far between. So there's not two copies of every gun in my vault. And if it can be crafted, more than likely, I don't have it built at all unless I'm actively using it. All my exotic weapons that I'm not using get deleted, right? So I've done everything I can as far as inventory management, and still it's just at capacity. And I'm just tired of fooling with it, you know? So I know it sounds like a cop out or whatever, but until they can do something with it, well, not until, that's not right. I'm just burnt out right now. But for the time being, I don't want to have to deal with the vault management. So I've been kind of avoiding it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, like you want to sit down and play your video game. You don't want to sit down, pull out your spreadsheet, and say, "Okay, here are the things I want to keep. If I delete that, you don't want to have to play that game. You want to go play the game you sat down to play, not the metagame of inventory management. Which
Exactly.
which it could be its own mini game at this point. Give me my dating sim, give me my Destiny Rising, give me my Destiny Destiny
Dating
Warehouse
game.
Manager.
Exactly.
I do get a little bit of a kick out of sitting down and going through my Destiny Item Manager and planning what I'm going to kind of get rid of, and going through the roles and looking at it like, right, I've saved this one and trying to remember why I've saved that one because Cool Guy said it was really good, kind of thing. And um, uh, do they have a note section on Destiny Item Manager? Because I should start using it, to be
They
honest.
do. Yes, yeah, they definitely do because I've used that to add because usually when I'm playing PvP I'm going I know I have good PvP roles in this vault somewhere. Let me
Yeah.
find them. So I've started giving myself like like PvP god roll, like all one word, like basically tagging things in the notes. I do the same thing with loadouts too. If I've gotten a loadout from a video or from a creator, I'll put in like the creator's name in the URL, like the YouTube video or the Mobalytics link to remind myself where it came from. Because sometimes I'll look at a build and go, I want to use this. This looks fun, but I don't remember the gameplay loop I need to do to be successful with this. So I'll go back and like refresh my memory there. But yeah, no, I've definitely made good use of the notes section on the weapons. Going, why do I have this? What is this here for? Just if for no other reason, just to go, hey, this is a PVE weapon. This is a PvP weapon. I went through and noted a whole ton of things. Just never shot. Just all one word. Never shot. which were weapons I had in my vault. I have never used them, like had 0 kills on them, never brought them out. And I was like, let me use that as my filter for going in. I just sat one day and just loaded up, would empty the slot on my character, load a weapon for the vault, delete, 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 move to the next slot, did the same thing going. I've never used these. Again, I did the same thing Respawn had done. If it's an exotic and I can repull, let me delete it. If it's a whatever archetype, I'm like, listen, if it ever becomes a thing again, there's probably somewhere in this game I can get one from. It's just not a big deal. Let me get rid of it. Like, just sat down and did the inventory management piece of it. But yeah, the note section has been useful for even just tagging things that I enjoy and going, like, hey, like this is the version of this gun that I really like using, or this is where I use this because it excels this way. Yeah, I don't have a ton of things tagged, but I have a handful of things tagged that just to help me remember. Yeah, why are you here? What do you do here at Initech?
Yeah, I do sometimes like enjoy going through and then looking at the gun and comparing it to another variation of that gun and going, do I really need that gun? So I mean, I've got like 20 spaces in my vault, so I'm doing quite well. But what made me laugh is that I've still got a rake angle, an albedo wing from last year's Dawning sitting on my hunter, blocking up anything else that kind of falls out the postmaster. That I never pulled out. I mean, it was a rubbish roll, but it was like I got one and I had it there, and that was it. It was like, but I don't need it. And some of the things I kind of keep and I don't really need, but yeah, it just makes me laugh. Some of the things that I kind of go through, which is why I'm not going to do the let's take a shot at Nidedemon's Vault and see what we can delete. Not in a billion years. It's just
See everyone. He did say he goes through and deletes things. You heard it here first. He does go and clean up periodically. Yeah, but no, I agree.
Hearing is not believing. That's all I'm saying.
We've gone over this. You play more raids. You've got more raid weapons and crafted weapons from the raids than any of us. So you've got those kind of things. I haven't got a lot of those weapons, and the ones that I have got, I've got like, I mean, stupidly, I mean, I've got, where is it? Where's my hand cannons? I've got the hand cannon Igneous Hammer Adept that I got from my first ever Lighthouse drop with opening shot and encore high caliber rounds and full bore. I'll never use it, but it's there. It's in my vault because it was the one that I got from my first trials run solo in Destiny 2.
Yeah, that's I mean, and that's like I know we talked about before having that like like trophy case. Like that would be a perfect weapon to be like I want this. I want to keep this because of the feelings I have attached to it, not because it's a good weapon necessarily, not because I want to use it, but I want to have that memory of of getting this. Yeah, and that would it would. I was just thinking it would be nice to have a way like in game to be able to go like, hey, here's again, like we have a way to make clips, we have a way to make screenshots, obviously, but it'd be nice if there was like a almost like a memories feature, like, hey, this is a cool thing. This is the day we clutched that raid. This is the day I got this weapon. Like, can you go back and like, prepare me a recording, go back and, take the last whatever, go back and take this trials run and, just make me a recording of like the final game and the trip to the lighthouse. Like, and just like deliver that to me as a little like memory, like a little movie and, do it in 24 hours. It doesn't have to be like immediate, go back and, render it on the server, then give me the nice video later on. It'd be a fun way just to have some of that stuff kept for you. So, sort of like you wouldn't have to go back and remember it to do it all the time. Random thing that popped into my brain. But yeah, like there's so many things where it's like, I got this then. And I don't really care about the reward. It was more the experience around the reward.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully next year brings a lot more improvements to Destiny 2 and we get to see a little bit more of what's happening with Apollo and Behemoth in the following months and find out that it's going to be amazing. And hopefully that they take their time and they rebuild what they can kind of do with Destiny, because I'm hoping that they do make it a little bit more grindier, and with that grind that they add like the PvP maps so that we can kind of have the time, not the downtime, but the time that we normally would be moaning that there's nothing to do, playing PvP on the new maps and getting refreshed with those. And and letting Bungie be able to kind of step away slightly and not have to kind of do a weekly event and then a seasonal event and then this and that. And I mean, they're already talking about doing that, aren't they? With the end of Revenant, saying, "Oh well, because the community asked for it, we gave it all to you in the first couple of weeks that you wanted to do all the story all in one go. So we gave that to you. Then we found out that people were upset with that. We're now going to give you an extra thing to kind of do at the end of Revenant to keep you." It's like, no, don't worry about that. Just worry about doing Heresy and making that really, really good. Don't worry about pandering to people that are moaning that they don't want to come back for the end of Revenant. Just like at the end of the day, just we will be here playing the game because we enjoy playing the game. Don't kind of fill it with fluff that we then complain that the fluff is too buggy. It's just
like I much rather give me a really polished again. Like maybe it's rose-colored glasses looking back. I don't remember there being a lot of issues with Onslaught. Pantheon again, I can't speak to because I didn't play in it. But I don't remember when they give us Onslaught, it was like oh, this is a broken mess and we can't play it and it's terrible. It's this horrible experience. I remember it being just a good experience to go in and be farming for these weapons and hoping I get a good roll of this or a good roll of that or a shiny drop of something. Like that was just genuinely exciting. It just felt like I think it was I remember it being like the best received Destiny event or thing in a long time because it was just pure good. It was, hey, here's something limited. The loot pool is good. It's interesting rolls. Yeah, some of them, it's not all brand new weapons, but it's weapons with interesting perks. It's weapons with some unique styling to it that weren't mementos to drop. It was you just got this drop, and it was maybe the weapon was good, maybe it was terrible, but it was an interesting, good looking, unique weapon, and it worked. It wasn't like, oh, I did this run and I got no loot out of it. Oh, the chest never opened or gave me nothing. Like more of those experiences. Again, I don't know how much work it was to do that versus other things. I'm not not a game designer, not a developer, but things like that aren't all brand new, but just a really good time for the community and just positive. Like just I don't need a brand new activity. Like stop. I'm not an iPad kid who needs to have something in front of my eyes at all time. I don't need to be constantly entertained. I'm not a toddler laying in a crib saying, "Give me something to play with." If I'm ready to step away from the game, I'll go play another game. I'll come back. I don't constantly need new all the time, especially when it, throughout Destiny, you can't do the new all the time and have it be a good experience. Give me fewer really good experiences than just more overall of all sorts of varying quality. That at the end of the day, I think is what we're all asking for at all levels of this game. The things you're going to bring out are amazing when you do them right. When you rush them and get them out the door broken, then nobody has a good time. You're being yelled at. We're not having a good time with the game. It's hard to get, hard to bring our friends back to play the game when it's in such a state. So, we don't need new time-limited activities. We want core investment in the game, or bring us something, bring some of these maps back that you would take it out to fix. Spend the time rebuilding those instead.
Yeah, and another good thing is like PvP maps, Gambit maps, Onslaught maps. You now have Onslaught. Where's the pillar of Onslaught helping lift up the game? You need to kind of. I know we've got the 3 new maps with Onslaught Salvation, but again, maybe a new map with Heresy, maybe a couple of new maps with Apollo, a couple of new maps with Behemoth would also be really good.
Yeah. Just new maps, please, all around. Just had a thought that may be a terrible idea of doing, is we're in the vein of these big like 12-man activity type things. I don't know how you would work this in gameplay wise, but having like a larger activity, like having a group of 6 or a group of 12 go into an activity where like you're doing a raid on, doing a Cabal raid on a base or something. And then like so like you're all together during a part, and then you split up, and like 3 of you go and sort of like raid the base, and then 3 of you sort of like hold off the reinforcements. So it almost becomes like a split strike, split onslaught activity, where like one of you are basically holding off these waves of enemies while one of you push inside to try to drop the defenses from inside or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm just daydreaming, but that thought popped into my brain is I don't even know how that would work necessarily, but
it would be
I like,
nice, but I mean that's a whole lot of stuff that they would like. I mean, they got another game to work on, and they have a quarter of the staff. So
yeah. I'm just
you know,
I'm basically saying, instead of something new, can we mash two things together? And would it even be any good? That I don't know either. This may be a terrible idea and be no fun for anybody. Thoughts pop into my brain. I speak into the microphone. We hope for the best.
and you were talking about, hey, Bungie, don't worry about pandering to the people and this and that and the other. But I'm like, well, I wouldn't mind a little pandering if that pandering came with some vault space. Can I have some vault space pandering?
That's different. That's that pandering to like, oh, we'll create you like a mini event to kind of fluff up the rest of the season because we know that you'll be done within 2 hours of the whole story. So we want to kind of prolong what's actually happening over the 6 weeks that we've got left of the season. It's like, do we need that? Do we really need that?
Pandering is saying no. Pandering is saying build me my one-off bespoke onslaught strike activity that I just thought up.
Fair.
This is not asking for pandering. This is just throwing ideas out. But yeah,
Just
yeah,
quality of life.
yeah. I mean, just like every time again, and the dawning has me thinking about this because every time we have one of these seasonal events, the core of the game is built around the ritual playlist. Go do the ritual activities for this material, that material, or this game loop. And I'm like going, give me a reason to like. I'm glad we at least had Zer's activity, which I'm drawing a blank on the name of now.
Days of Eternity.
Thank you. Yes, Days of Eternity.
The Diamond Pony.
I like that we had that as an option or strikes. Even though I opted for strikes sometimes, I was like, at least there's an option besides that and strikes, because doing strikes, I just can't bring myself to do them. But I like that they've added the extra pieces to it. You can do that or go do dares to get this bounty done. Because again, I want to have my title gilded. Like I want to have the pretty gold number. I want to make gold number go up. So I like that there was other options besides to just go run strikes to get this thing done. Bring back Gambit Prime and the Reckoning. Bring back the Reckoning. Give it a good rotation. Absolutely. Difficult pinnacle level activity.
We've had so many different kind of season events and activities that they just developed them for that season and then they're just taken away again. Sundial, that's gone.
Menagerie,
yeah. We could have a corrupted version of the Menagerie now that it's sort of there, isn't it? It's there, it isn't there. You can go and do duality on it, but it's not actually there. You can't go and... But you know what I mean? It's still kind of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we had that as a location with Haunted. That's sad that's kind of gone away, because I think if they'd have left it there and it opens up every now and then, and you can go on there and do those old activities like go to the bars or the dogs, and you participate in kind of getting rid of the nightmares or whatever whatever they want to kind of put in there, and it will give you X, Y, and Z. Just little things like that just would incentivize people. Oh, it's up on a rotation. It's every 5 to 6 weeks, and it's just a surprise that it could come back up this week. Oh, live in the game now is this. Like they had with the Whisper mission, it's just like something that would only go live for a certain period of time, but it's not taken out of the game. It's just like it could pop up every now and then. Just things like that would be interesting as well to kind of help the game. Like, oh no, this is up, so everybody rushes to go and play it.
Yeah. I mean, it's something else. Yeah, I mean, Destiny has enough activities. I mean, even just in the game now, there's enough planets I can go to. There's enough things I could do that like I don't think about because they're just always here. Like they're just always up, and there's just no, there's no motivation to go do it. There's no reason like, oh, go do this week because it's only up. I think just adding, taking some, I don't want to say taking things out of the game because then everyone will start screaming about things. But some of these, some of these things that have been taken out of the game, bring them back on a rotation list. We've got the exotic rotator. Bring me a seasonal rotator. And yeah, does it have to be the most balanced thing in the world? Absolutely not. Like, can you bring it back in the form it was in the game? Yeah. Like, might it be a little easier now? Sure, but like it's it's not meant to be brand new content and absolutely top tier pinnacle activity for the game as it is now.
No.
Give me something else to play and something else to enjoy. Yeah, I mean, and just that limited time, and that's why I enjoy Iron Banner partially. Is it's not up all the time. If it was up every single week, I go, yeah, it's Iron Banner. I could do that anytime.
Yeah.
I like that it's a time limited activity. It's not there all the time. It's it's saying, hey, this week I'm going to do this. It's similar to the the double drops or the increased ranks. I go, oh, this week this is up. That's what I'm going to prioritize my time to go do. Sure, maybe I'll do other things, but like that's what I'm here for this week. I'm going to do the thing that's beneficial this week.
Saying that though, if Iron Banner was just at the weekend, I would struggle. I'd love Iron Banner, but I would struggle to play it because of the way that my weekends are structured. So it's nice that it is during the week. Whereas I find with Trials, I'd like to play Trials, but because Trials is over the weekend, by the time I get to be able to play it, it's probably Tuesday just before the reset, or Friday night after it's been reset. So I'm kind of limited, which it's nice that they do that. And the other thing I was thinking was like, with the story elements of us defeating the Witness and the final shape and things like that, where are the planets that were kind of taken or hidden from us? Like Io, Mars, they could bring back Io in some form and have it be maybe a gateway to like doing the Whisper mission, so that the Whisper mission isn't always up in that legendary node. It's only available when that planet pops up, write it into the story that it's kind of phasing. Don't know whatever the Witness has done to it, but it's phasing in and out of our kind of time or like the out of our system. So it's only up for a limited amount of time. Same with Mars. You could bring that back and have Escalation Protocol, but then you have the Dread on there because the Dread have kind of been abandoned on Mars. So you need to do the Escalation Protocol to get rid of those. There's new bosses. They could cut down some of the areas so that you don't, or they could bring it all back. They could bring back the lost sectors on there and make them bigger and better, or different lost sectors. There's so much scope that they could do things that were in the game that they could maybe easily bring back to the game and just slightly change them, because we do have some of those elements for some of the strikes. There's the Heist Battlegrounds, isn't it? It starts off with that back bit of the Escalation Protocol. So those elements are in the game. I mean, maybe not Io. What else was taken out? Mercury as well. We have the Infinite Forest. Maybe a reason why that kind of phases back in is maybe around Halloween, that it's kind of phased back in because of some kind of lunar activity, and you're able to then go into the Infinite Forest, or you're able to do the Haunted Forest for Halloween. Just throwing it out there, Bungie. Just these things that you've taken out of the game, maybe bring back or phase in and out of the game, and have some kind of story element to why they're coming in and out of the game, that it kind of makes it kind of interesting that they will randomly pop up and be an active thing for, like, it's up this week, and you don't know until maybe a Wednesday or a Thursday that it's up for the rest of this week, just as a random thing, which would be quite nice. As a community, I think we liked looking for Xur. I don't think we like the fact that Xur is just in one set location now. There was always like,
I think in this particular aspect, I gotta agree with you, because don't nobody like looking for Xur. That's why sites like Where Is Xur exist,
Yeah,
because he was aggravating, having to track him down
I
every week.
think it was nice to kind of, where's what's he selling?
No, the what's he selling, yes, but the
no, but
Where
I think it
Is
generated
Xur,
a lot more
like,
chat.
oh, that was nice.
And a
No,
lot
it wasn't. That was aggravating. Now, whatever poor guy was hosting the Where Is Their website, well, he's broke now. So, sorry, bud.
I mean, Dares needs a little bit of an update.
Of Eternity?
Yeah.
I mean, does it though?
I think it does.
I would know, because I haven't been there in, hold on, checks calendar, years?
Since they're rotated.
Right.
Yeah, and that's sort of like, my point about, things being up all the time. It's like, yeah, it's there and I could play it. Like, but unless unless I'm trying to get that last bounty done, or unless I'm trying to get that last challenge done, there's no real compelling reason to go in there. There's no like, hey, if I go in this week, then X thing happens. Or yeah, I think it would just, it would help if there was just, a story reason, a loot reason, some kind of reason to go into these activities that, yeah, I could do, but there's just, they're not that interesting, and there's just nothing there for me.
Yeah. I mean, if they rotated things that kind of phased in and out of the game, I think it would keep the game interesting enough, and to have maybe like different things. So I know it'd be like you missed out if you weren't able to kind of do it in the first 6 months, but they've got like different weapons or different armor sets that are available in those locations, something, or different emblems for doing kind of things, incentivizing people to keep going back to those areas rather than kind of, oh, we're going to put this on an 8-week rotation, and once you've done it, then there's no real reason to go back. A bit like we have with like things on the Dreaming City. I can't remember the names of those things now.
What things?
The darkness things, the Ascendant challenges.
Ascendant challenges, yeah. I mean, there's like about 8 of those, but once you've kind of gone in there, done the challenges, and got the kind of hidden Ahamkara bones, there's no reason to go back to them because they don't give you pinnacles anymore.
You get kitties, you psychopath.
I get kitties.
Well, you get to pet the kitties. You get kitties.
I don't want to pet the
about
kitties.
right.
I mean, you can get Dreaming City weapons, but there are other avenues to kind of do those. But again, once you've kind of done those kind of things, there's no other reason. I mean, maybe different skins that offer different kind of skins available for these weapons. I mean, what I've noticed with the Nightfall weapons, I've got like, we joke about it, like the 3 different versions of the Izanami RR4. Every time a weapon kind of comes back, they give it a different kind of skin, which is quite nice. But they could do that in the game with certain weapons. And I think people would like that if it had a different skin, or if then when you applied a shader to it, it was different from the original version. So you would get people that would then look for similar roles to what they've got that have this different skin that they could then apply, just cosmetics to as well. Just little things I think would help.
It would sure help me keep my various versions of the hung jury straight. Yeah. I mean, look how well received the hunt for the shiny weapons and Onslaught was during Into the Light. Like that was a lot of fun. I mean, again, that as someone who was actively, trying to hunt them down, it was exciting when one would drop and look different. It's like, oh, that looks different and good. I should specify, like different, like and good, not just different, but like this was an interesting look, interesting, unique, color to it. It was exciting to get on a drop, and then to go, okay, what is this any good or not? We'll find out. But it was exciting to see one of those drop, and knowing I had something special either way. It was a nice reward. Even if it's a reward I don't keep, because like this long into the game, I'm not going to keep half the stuff that drops. Like I don't have the space for it. I don't need it. It's not a good enough roll or significantly better than what else I have. But it feels good to get. It feels good to get those rewards, even if I'm going to delete them afterwards. It's just nice to have something that makes I just want that little hit of dopamine. That's all I'm looking for.
Right.
I want my brain to go, "Ooh, you got a shiny thing. Look at the pretty thing." I don't need the pretty thing, but it's pretty, and I enjoyed getting it. I sort of, again, in the same way, like I miss after the end of of events and Crucible stuff, seeing what everybody got. I really still miss the Destiny 1, showing what everybody got, so I could be like, look at that guy at the bottom getting the exotic weapon drop. Or look at that guy at the top who got two tokens, just like absolutely nothing for absolutely wiping this lobby. Like it was fun to see what everybody else had, and to joke with your friends about how poorly or well they did, and then were rewarded either for their poor performance or not for their good performance, or vice versa. Like it was just a little more, I don't know, a little more friend based, a little more community-y, just seeing what everybody had versus just hey, here's some things that maybe you saw on the feed, maybe you didn't. It would it feels like things just sort of zip by and they're just gone. Whereas before it was like, oh, here's what we actually had. I can see what you get. I can see what I got. I'll remember what I got. Because now, like, I don't, Destiny 1, you remember when and where you got these things. You've got the screenshot. You've got the clip of when this dropped.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, I don't know where this came from. I have no idea where this weapon came from. I did some activity somewhere, but I really couldn't tell you. I looked at my character and was like, oh, this dropped. Don't know when that happened. Like they're a little less special. They're a little less, memorable.
True. And I know we were talking about the like Days of Eternity needs a refresh, but the funny thing is, with this season or this episode, Revenant, we had the reprisal of the Chroma Rush, the Ignition Code, and the Grid Skipper, didn't we? Oh, and the Sonja's Tail, which was the shotgun. The funny thing is, since they were out of the game in Splicer, they put them into Days of Eternity in week 3's rotation. So you could always go and get the Chroma Rush, you could always get the Ignition Code, the Grid Skipper, the Farewell, the Sonja's Tale, and the Shattered Cipher as a random drop in week 3's rotation of the of Days of Eternity. But the funny thing is, those weapons now, you can still get those in Days of Eternity on a week 3 rotation. But they're not the updated version with the perk that you can now get in the game. So it's like, so why are they still available in Days of Eternity without the extra perk? Surely that's an incentive if you want to. I know you can pop a tonic to try and get them, but surely that would incentivize people to go to Days of Eternity on the week 3's rotation to go, maybe I could get a triple drop to see if I can get the best drop of a Chroma Rush or an Ignition Code or fill in the blank kind of thing. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. That's the other thing is knowing what reward comes from where in the game and which version of it is. I shouldn't have to remember, you go here for this version of the gun and go there for that version of the gun. Although it's funny you bring up Chroma Rush. I hadn't really, been playing a lot with the tonics, partially because I just forget they exist and partially because they just didn't seem that advantageous. Let me tell you, since they put the fix in, I popped the Chroma Rush one and did a contest of elders. I think I now have about 15 Chroma Rushes sitting on my character to sort through. They were like, you guys want the weapon? You want to focus? Here you go. Here's all of them, which I'm not mad about. So yeah, if you're looking for the Chroma Rush, they'll give you some Chroma Rushes. We have many Chroma Rushes now. They made that work great.
Yeah. But it would be nice to have somewhere in the game that told you what the possible roles are. I mean, I know it's a lot of information that would then be on the screen, and I think maybe people would get upset about, but maybe when you actually go to Xur, or you highlight it and it tells you these are the weapons that are available, and then you could then, if you want to, go away and check out, I like the idea of getting a Giant 7 rifle. What does that do? Escape velocity. I never heard of that. What can that do? And go, I can play it this week, and that sounds quite nice. And the same with the armor sets as well for Dares. But
it's
the same with
show me what's in the game. I wanted to stop and just like agree with you vociferously there and go, if I load up an activity, if I load up a Nightfall, tell me what the weapon is. Tell me what weapon I'm going to get this week. If I'm loading up Dares, tell me what, hey, the loot pool is this. Hey, you could get drops of these things. Tell me what I'm going for in the game. I'm happy to go away to Dim or another app to go investigate and see all the roles. Just tell me what I could get from this. I don't like having to go to to another location just to see if I do this activity, what's the reason to do it? What could I get from it? And is it anything I care about?
On that Dares director to have like a little circle like they have with the legacy circles that they have on the main director. If you hover over that, you can have a look at some of the legacy stuff. That if you go to the Dares thing, it says this week's rotation is week 3. And then you toggle over to where the different circles are, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, week 3 will give me a possibility of these weapons and these armor sets. And the same with week 4, 1 and 2. I mean, it would make things a lot easier. And the same with like Lost Sectors as well. Yes, they've done a fantastic job with telling you now we've got the Lost Sector symbol, where the Lost Sector is for the day. But the problem is it only still tells you half the information when you actually look on the director and go, that's the Lost Sector. It tells you, I think it tells you the burns and it tells you the champions. But then when you actually go to the flag, it will tell you an overcharged weapon and
the surges and whatever.
Yeah, all the extra bit of information is then when you get to the flag, and then when you toggle, whether you want to do the legend or the master version, it will, or expert, I can't remember which one. It's expert now, isn't it? It will then give you an updated version, but nowhere does it tell you what the rewards are, apart from possibility of an exotic at the end or exotic engram at the end. But other people would like to know what those weapons are without having to go to a third-party website and go, "Oh, what rotation is it today?"
Yeah. Like there's plenty of things again that are extra, that are bonus, that are you can read the API and display to me in a nice way. Happy to go to the website for those. Happy to load up Braytech. Happy to load up Destiny Item Manager. Go to Light GG, D2 Foundry. Happy to go to those places to get all of the data that I want. But if I'm just playing the game, or if I'm a new player of the game, I don't know all those resources. I shouldn't have to use all those resources just to play the game. I should be able to say, why am I doing this activity? What reason, game, do I have to engage with you? You should be able to tell me an answer to that question.
Yeah. I mean, they've done a fantastic thing with the raids, now doubling up on the raids and the dungeons each week, because I think that's helped alleviate the problems of like it's suddenly getting into a point of we've got like 8 dungeons and 8 raids, and you'd have to wait like 8 or 9 weeks for it to come back up. And I think that's really good that we now have the double ones. But again, I'm really confused because each week most of the raids have a challenge that is to be done. So you'll get like, say, Root of Nightmares will be the first, King's Fall will be the second, Vow the Disciple will be the third, and then say Vault of Glass and Crota's will be the featured for the week. And when it is the featured one for the week, it then skips the next week's rotation because it works as like in the API. I think it thinks that that week would have been X challenge, so it then moves on to the next one for the following week.
Mm-hmm.
The confusing thing is, Salvation's Edge is the kind of the main raid for this episode or for this expansion, and until we get another raid, that won't then be taken out of the rotation. So each week it's a different challenge. Crota's End is a completely different animal. Crota's End, because it was one of the featured raids, so when it was the main raid, it had a rotation each week. But now, where Salvation's Edge has come in, it doesn't have a rotation of its challenges. So the only time that you can get the challenges done is when it is the featured raid, which is really confusing because it doesn't do it every week on a rotation. So I think that's something that they need to address going forward, is that when these raids aren't the featured one, you need to keep a rotation going because there needs to be something there for people to do or be able to get double loot from.
Yeah. Again, give me the reason to engage. Give me why are we here? Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
So I was wondering, I saw that this week they auto-completed the Splat challenge for everybody. Is that because, which I'm pretty sure is the run somebody over with a Sparrow and Sparrow control?
Yep.
Is that because we were supposed to have Sparrow control this week, or at some point, and now they're just not? So they're going, we're just going to give this to you because unless you happen to have done it the 1 week it was up, now you can't.
Yeah. In the challenges, the Splat had come up this week, and I was like, oh, it's definitely going to be Sparrow control this week in the rotations, and how wrong I was. I was like, why is it regular control? How are people going to get that challenge done? And obviously, with them auto-completing it, that says to me that we're not going to get Sparrow control at all for the rest of this season. So I'm like,
nope. You've all been put on the naughty list, and Santa says no more Sparrow control for you.
Which is really confusing because we didn't have... The last time we had Sparrow control was in week 17 of Echoes, from what I can see on the rotations. So
it was a while ago. Yeah, like I think I played it a couple times just to experience it, but yeah, it's been a while since it was up. I was like, did we forget this existed again? Did we not put this back in the game? Similar to Scaro 9 is asking a Destiny 2 team, hey, remember that Dawning Community event that you told us about? That we were, saying, hey, we're halfway through the event and no one's told us how we're doing with it yet. So how are we doing with the whole cookie baking? So apparently they're like, hey, we should tell you about that. So they did. And said Zavala has eaten 3,470,500 35 Gahalodoodle?
Oh my god, he
Galladiddle.
absolutely has diabetes.
Gahalodoodles, yeah. Yeah,
Galladiddle.
well over expectations. So players have unlocked multiple emblem drop chances for gifts in return.
Oh.
Now you should focus on baking for Ikora, Eva, and the Drifter to earn additional increases. Yeah, and the first comment from D2 Clarity says, Zavala has eaten this many Gahalodoodles, which is,
Yep.
I swear, a word I could say before today when I'm trying to record myself saying this word. It just says, this man has lost his ghost, and we're trying to kill him with diabetes. This isn't right. So yeah, good job baking cookies. Bake more cookies, get more emblems to drop. Ever since I got that first one to drop, I have not seen the other two at all. And I've baked. I have done my part to give that man diabetes. That's all I'm going to say.
I have not. I've been so busy this week. It's been a blur for me. Apart from doing the odd bit of Destiny video stuff, and I mean, normally I would have to prepare for the show. I'm quite glad that I don't have to do videos this week. We haven't had a TWAB to go over, and there's information that we kind of need to go over. But just with getting everything ready for Christmas, it was like going and getting all the food and making sure the house was clean and tidy. It's like
Too many things to do, and baking virtual cookies for video game characters.
Yeah,
That's too far.
It was penciled in. I penciled it in every single day, but every single day there's something else that came up. It was like, oh,
Yep.
well, you need to go and collect your children early from school today because they're having a half day. It's like, well, don't you want to teach them today? Do you not want to give them a party or something to keep them there? But no.
No, they're good. They're like, we've taught them enough. They've learned all they're going to learn. We've done all we can.
Yeah. So it was like, I had to pick them up halfway through the day, and I was like, right, to my son, I said, right, you need to have a haircut because it's got to the point where it's just gone too long. I think there's a meme going around of like a stag putting his head down in the brush, and then he's like, you can see him nuzzling around, and he puts his head up, and he's got this huge like beehive of like twigs and things. That's what my son's hair looked like every morning. And every morning I would say to the girls in the car, say, please brush his hair, because he just didn't care. He just like, yeah, it's whatever. I'm like, do something with his hair because it's a mess. So I took him to the barber's to have his hair cut. So by the time we've done that, and then my wife had taken the kids out like every couple of weeks and got them to buy their siblings, given them a budget, and said, right, you can buy this amount of things for your siblings as presents for Christmas. And she'd done it with all the girls, but she hadn't done it with my son. And because she wasn't feeling very well, I said, right, I'll take you round the shop. He was so hard. He was just like, yeah, whatever. Just get the girls, whatever. Like, well, I'm taking you in like a perfume and like makeup store. Pick something for your sisters. What? And he was like, oh, I can't be bothered with this. And it was lucky that I had one of the sisters with me. I was like, please help me. Please help me. What do you guys want? Because he's not helping.
If you like something you remotely appreciate, do yourselves a favor.
The thing is, I said to the girls in the car in the morning, I said, please tell your brother what you would like for Christmas. So they reeled off a list, and he just sat there and went, no, I'm not getting that. I was like, please don't wind me up. So yeah, by the time I did that, it was then time to pick up the other ones from school. So by the time I got home, I was like, I've got to finish cleaning and tidying from what I'd left from when I had to go and pick up the big ones. And then it was then straight on to work, and then come back, and I had to finish tidying up. And it's like, oh dear.
Now you're here talking with two knuckleheads about a video game.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, at least you have the hope of help. Like, I'd been listening to my wife all year and like trying to pick up on things that she wants. Like, she has this robe. She loves robes in the house, mostly because I keep the house at below freezing. But she loves robes, right? And she loves anime, and she kept talking about this and that and the other. So I went online and I looked for something that would combine the world. Like, I know her favorite anime characters, and then I found a website that has fairly decent quality clothing with anime stuff on it. So I was going to go get her one of those, and she walked in on me and saw me doing it. She goes, what you getting that for? I was like, well, there that idea goes. I was like, well, I was going to get it for you for Christmas, but not anymore. She goes, oh, good, because I don't want that. I'm like, wait a minute. What? I'm like, I thought you liked it. She goes, oh, yeah, I do like it. I like it a lot, but I don't want it. What?
Oh,
There's a difference between me liking it and wanting it. I'm like, I'm going to hurt you. I'm actually going to hurt you right now.
I think it was like Monday of this week. I looked at my wife and I was like, I love you, right? She's like, Yeah. I was like, why do I feel like 11 months out of the year, I know you as a person and know your likes and know what you'd appreciate. But then the 1 month out of the year, I really need to like buckle down and focus on that information. My brain goes, I don't know this person. I've never met you. I don't know what you'd want.
Yeah.
And she looked at me and she's like, she just laughed. She's like, I feel the same way. I look at you and I'm like, we're adults. We'll buy our thing. We'll buy ourselves the things we need or want to a degree, and the other things are way too expensive to do that with. I was like, good. So I'm not the only one here going, I love you. I know you. But then when December comes around, I go, I don't know what you'd like. I've never met you as a person before. I have no clue what you'd enjoy. I feel like my brain just empties in December going, I need to buy you presents. I have a sense of what you'd like, but my brain goes, no, I don't know. I'm no help. I've
Because,
never met
like-
this person before.
Because Christmas is supposed to be like special or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So either our expectations are too low for what we've gotten them, or their expectations are too high for what we give them. Either way, at least for me, like I feel like I am the worst gift giver because it like whenever I give somebody something, I always feel like they have this meh kind of reaction, dude, and I'm just like, damn, I really thought that was gonna go over well. You know what I mean? So I mean, and then like when I hear her talk about things that she wants, right? Like for Christmas and whatnot. Because last year she said she wanted a vacuum cleaner. I'm like, I've watched enough sitcoms to know that if I got you a vacuum cleaner, it would end in divorce. You know?
Yeah, I
That
can buy you a vacuum cleaner any day of the year. You don't need one for Christmas.
Yeah.
Right. You know?
Yeah. I mean, if anything, maybe I'll get you the really, really nice one. But even so, that doesn't quite feel like a gift so much as a household need.
Exactly. You know? But she wants things that are for the house. And I'm like, I get what you're saying,
Yeah.
babe, but this
Yeah.
isn't for the house. This is for you. And she's like, well, it would make my life easier. And I'm like, again, sitcoms have told me that's not true. You know? The first time I actually go to do this thing, you know, I'm given divorce papers for my next Christmas gift. And that's
See,
just how it is.
It's
You know?
different for me and my wife because where she's the main earner and I'm like the house husband. It's different for what she actually requires for the home. She doesn't say that she needs a new Hoover or she needs a new thing. Sometimes she'll say that she wants like new baking things. Like she's into collecting rolling pins at the moment, so she wants some rolling pins, like bespoke rolling pins that she wants to put up on the wall. And I'm like yeah, okay. Nobody can find a bespoke rolling pins anywhere. It's like,
Sorry,
Sure.
I need you to back up. Did you say bespoke rolling pins?
Antique stores.
yeah.
Antique stores are where you will find your interesting and bespoke.
What is
No,
that?
no,
mean?
we've
what is a
we've been to antique
bespoke
stores.
rolling pin?
Well,
What does that even mean?
Some of them are like have
Older.
textures. Like if you
Yeah.
like if you're rolling out like textured cookies, like you think of a rolling pin as just a flat round circle of wood.
Yeah.
They have ones that have like
They have ceramic
What?
ones with flower decorations on them.
Yeah,
like,
like some of
or
them like you
metal
roll
ones
out.
that do
Yeah, like you roll out a picture, you roll out a pattern. It's not like you roll out flat cookies and then make them into a pattern. The act of rolling them out will make them that pattern because the rolling pin is patterned, like has a pattern built into it.
And we have several kind of places that do specialize in baking stuff. You can go there and buy your knives and your flour sieves and all this to get like rolling pin. It's like that. Oh yeah, we sell a rolling pin. It's a bog standard plastic roll. You're like, I don't
Right.
I want that. Yeah, but we've been all over the place. I think they managed to get her one. But normally when
you go to the fancy rolling pinnery.
Yeah. When I get her presents, I get her like really cool things. Like I think last year I bought her a Loungefly bag of Ghostbusters. She really likes Ghostbusters. She's big fan of Dan Aykroyd and things like that. So I got her one of these, and I got her some watch straps for her Apple Watch.
Okay, not to Britishism you again, but a Loungefly bag.
Right?
Are those the words you said? And what is that?
It's the make of bag. Have you guys not got Loungefly?
Oh, it's a brand. Okay.
Yeah,
I
sorry.
mean, I have no idea if we do or not. I heard the words. I heard the words, and I was trying to put together what that would be.
Just do me a favor. Google it now. Loungefly bags.
Yep.
And you will be amazed at the wonders of Loungefly bags. Anything
it's a
you can think
backpack.
of.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
Backpack?
Yep, it's like a girly version. It's a small, like, I don't know, about
There's
30
something
centimeters
that's
Why
high
don't you
kind of
just
thing.
call it a backpack, dude?
because
Yeah,
Loungefly is
they're
the
called-
brand.
Yeah,
Because he's
They-
fancy. He's a fancy man.
because she's always said I would like a Loungefly bag, so I got her a
Yeah.
Loungefly bag, and anyway, anytime I ever get
Nice.
her a kind of gift, she's like, "Oh yeah, this is fantastic," and then like 6 months down the line, she goes, "I didn't really want that." It's like, what do you mean you didn't really want that? You use it every
Yeah.
day. You take your bag. Yeah, I feel guilty. I was like, no, you don't. No, you don't. What is it? I see you change those watch straps. I see you swap your bags because for her birthday, I bought her another Loungefly bag because she said she liked the Loungefly bag I got her at Christmas. She also likes Deadpool. I got her a Deadpool one, so she alternates.
Oh man,
between
we
the two
are
of
the
them.
same person. You married me.
I did.
Damn.
So
Right,
if you're looking for gifts for Respawn, a Deadpool Loungefly bag is the answer.
Well, I don't know
Yeah.
about the Loungefly, but the Deadpool for sure, 100%.
So I got this Deadpool for her birthday after getting the Ghostbusters one last Christmas. She went, "That's enough Loungeflies now. I don't need any more Loungeflies. I know I said I like them."
Are you
But
sure?
I said, "But I see these people, they have them up on shelves and things, and they just alter." No, I don't want any more. I kid you not. About 3 weeks later, she's out with my daughter, and my daughter sends
Buys
me a
another
picture of
Loungefly
my
bag.
wife holding a Loungefly bag, going, "I'd really like it." And I was like, "No, you're not having that. I am not getting you that for Christmas. You can just no, not at all, never. You said no."
That's
You
funny.
said
I
no.
didn't. No, I didn't
heard
get
you
it.
say no.
I did not get it for
so
her.
it is.
That's it. She thinks she might be getting it for Christmas. She's not getting it for Christmas.
It's like this is another one of those. You're adults. Communicate to each other. If you
Yeah.
want a thing, be like, "Hey, I like this thing." Half of my wife's Christmas is stuff she knows she's getting, because she's like, "This is what I want. This would make me happy." I go, "Great." I'm very good at listening and then ordering and then hoping things arrive from foreign countries in time. Because apparently, the Taylor Swift Collage magazine I had to order from the UK
Ooh.
from some like unique magazines company.
Yeah.
That apparently, because on TikTok it was like, "Hey, Barnes and Nobles has this." So I was like, "Great, let me go to the bookstore. Let me buy this." No, absolutely not.
Barnes does
They were
not.
like, "No,
Noble stole them all.
yeah." And they were like, "No, we don't have these. We don't sell them. We don't even know what you're talking about." So there's a company online out of the UK somewhere that'll sell them to me. And I'm like, "Great." And it showed up, and it was like, it's arrived on our shores. And then for a week, it was like, "We printed a label." Cool. Did you put the label on the package, and did the package go
That
somewhere?
takes another week, dude.
Maybe. And then a week later, it was like, "Hey, remember that package we printed the label for? We found it. We put it on, and we moved it closer to you." Good. Like I'm not that far from the East Coast.
One
Like
side of the warehouse to
it
the
shouldn't
other.
be that far.
This year, I let her just pick her presents. I just went, "What do you like? Just
Mhm.
I will buy it for you." And she wanted, like, she's got curly hair, so she wanted a, like, not a straightener, but a straightener brush that still plugs in. She's got a straightener, and now she wants a brush that plugs in. I was like, "Fine, I'll get you one. I'll get you a well-known brand, the GHDs." And she's like, "No, it's too expensive." I'm like, "But I can pay for it over the year. I don't have to pay. I'm not paying for it all in one go. I can't afford that. I will pay, like, get it from a club book and say, right, I will get it. I will pay you like £5 a month for the next year." I said, "I'm not, but you can have it for Christmas." But I don't like you doing that. It's like, because then you're just paying them all year. It's like, yes, but then we can afford presents and things. So
Then you can have nice things. When you said, "I'm not paying that," my thought was, yeah, I'm sending the children around to nick it right out of the store. We make our getaway, and it's a perfect crime.
And nick
not
it.
Oliver Twist.
Oh,
It's
he
not Oliver
said
Twist around here.
nick it. Oh my goodness, you're turning into a Brit.
Oh, that's been happening for a long time now.
Yeah. You two have been hanging around with me way too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not my wife, that girl that periodically stays with me while she's between missions, right?
Is she
Backup
your
wife?
girlfriend?
Mhm.
Do you not want to call her your wife?
No.
We call them the mistress.
Her boyfriend this time, right?
Mm.
Who is Romanian and Mexican. And like, because she's always like, she's what you call like a passive racist. She's not really racist, but she says racist things, not realizing that they're racist. And you're just like, oh my God, like black people play video games like that, right?
I don't think
Um,
that's passive racist.
Hmm.
I think that's just racist and just oblivious.
Yeah.
Well, no, because she's not racist. Because
No,
she
she's
doesn't have any
racist and she's
problem with
just
any other
oblivious.
race, so she's not racist. But the things she says is like, oh my god, I
A
just can't
racist.
with you, right? But
This is a real separate the art from the artist conversation here, and I agree with Nitedemon.
whatever. No, because you can say things without realizing they're racist, especially in this day and age. Point is like she was here, and we were driving home, and we were talking about like people that are your friends and people that aren't your friends and whatnot, right? And somehow you came up, Night Demon, because we do the podcast, I guess. And she was all like, well, what do you think about him? You think he's a friend? I'm like, I don't know. I ain't never met him. Right. But I tell you what, if he ever comes down to Florida for Disney, I'll let him stay here, you know? Or if I go to England, I'm hoping, he's got a couch open for me kind of thing. But that's as far as I know. I don't know him enough to know that. Oh, for sure, if I go to England, I got a spot, right? But I do know for sure that if he comes here, he's got a spot. So, just it depends on your definition or whatever. Because she and her quote friend had a misunderstanding, and then people got blocked, and there was high school drama, and it was a whole thing. And I was like, that's not your friend. If they're gonna do that to you, that's just not your friend. That's how it is, right? But anyway, so yeah, and that whole thing came up about going to England, and I was like, I don't know, maybe I can invade his house one day. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, just the pause there. That's all I needed to know.
Well,
I
we've
mean,
got
you will be sleeping with one or more of the children. But...
Yeah, it's not like we haven't got the rooms. It's just that the kids occupy the rooms.
It's just
It's
there's
all
too
right.
many humans for the rooms.
Yeah.
Look, bro. Look, you're hoarding the children. You need to let them grow. You need to let them sprout wings and fly, brother.
So, what have you guys decided you'd like for Christmas? Is there anything you've asked your wives for?
The last couple of years, we again looking at each other, going, if we want things, we'll just buy them.
Yeah.
So the last couple of years, we've actually done like Christmas Advent style, where we'll each buy each other like 10 or 12 smallish things, wrap them all, put them under the tree, and then just as the month goes on, take turns opening things. And just go into the tree and be like, here's a thing, here's a thing, here's another thing. Because we're always like together with like, family, either her family, my family, somebody. So there is always like some level of gift giving like on Christmas. But for the two of us, since it's just the two of us, we don't really do a lot for each other like on Christmas. We're kind of like, oh, it's Christmas. That's a day that we don't have to work at least. So yeah, like there's not really anything like terribly big or terribly exciting that like, either of us are hoping for, waiting for. Our Christmas was going to the Netherlands to see Taylor Swift earlier this year and doing that whole trip. So
Yeah.
that was our Christmas trip.
Respawn?
When it comes to me, I'm of the same mindset. If I want it, I get it, kind of thing. But
I think we all do that. But is there anything that because they go, well, what do you want? I need to get you something because I feel the need to get you something.
I feel the need for validation. No,
My wife
no.
goes, there's text stuff. I don't know what to buy you.
Yeah.
My wife's a great gift giver. Like, I mean, the one year she got me Cade's throwing knife, if y'all remember.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's always with me. I guess it's easy. I just like dragons, and I like Destiny 2/Cade stuff, right? But she always goes out of her way to get something. Like right now, I got a package yesterday, and I went to open it because I didn't know what it was. And my wife damn near tackles me at the door, dude. It's no bigger than a shoebox, but apparently it's my present. And she almost took me out to make sure I didn't see what this was, dude. It's like, good Lord, woman, calm down.
We've had a little bit of that going. No, don't open that one.
Yeah.
What is this box from? No.
Yeah. So it's always fun when your wife takes you out when you don't realize that you're about to open up your Christmas present. So there's that, I guess. But yeah, no, as far as like getting her stuff, I have a system where I'll get her a present that I think she'll like. And when that inevitably fails, I get her a TJ Maxx gift card or not TJ Maxx per se, but like she really likes TJ Maxx. So whatever the flavor of the month is for her, I'll get her a gift card for said place. Right.
Yeah.
And
The
then
weird thing
she's
is,
as
TK
happy
Maxx
as, huh?
is TJ Maxx over there, yeah?
Yeah.
It's called TK Maxx over here. Weird.
Hmm.
Same place.
Interesting.
Anyway. Carry
But
on.
yeah, whatever her flavor of the month is, I'll get her something from whatever store that she may or may not want to go to. So that's how that is. But because I know I always fail at gift giving. It's a thing. I'm not good at it, But
Does your wife also have the taste of I know what I like? Because that's
oh
that's
my
what
god, in spades,
for
dude.
yeah. I mean, I look at my wife and I'll be like, I would love to buy you, jewelry or this or that, but your taste is I know I'll like it when I see it. So it's
Yeah.
very hard without your eyes to be able to go to a store and be like, would you like this? Because maybe, yeah, but maybe not. And it's easier if I just go, hey, we're going here. I'm going to buy you a thing. Tell me which thing you'd like to buy.
Right.
It's like, my taste is, she doesn't really have a thing where it's like this, this is the kind of thing. Like, there are a couple things, but it's like there's nothing, like you and Dragon, like, oh, just give me a Dragon thing, and you probably won't go wrong. Like it will at least be something excellent to a point. But yeah, it's
exactly.
like I need you here to do the thing, to buy the thing you want because it's the thing you want, and that's very hard to walk into the store and be like, yes, I'm looking for a thing my wife would find good. What is that? I don't know, as I am not her. You have the same direction I have.
Yep.
See, I mean, my wife would get me like films and video game stuff, but she always said, "Oh, what do you want? What do you want?" I was like, "Well, it's not like I hide the Blu-rays. You can go and have a look at what the ones I've got and the ones that I probably would like as well that we watch, kind of thing, and buy me those. But no, we still have to go through the routine of what would you like? And I think last year
Did
she
you make a
wanted to buy.
list?
I know I
Did you check
didn't.
it twice?
Last year she was on about getting an arcade cabinet for me, and I was like,
Ooh.
yeah, I like that. I like the idea, but they're very, very expensive. And it came up again this year, but it was reduced significantly this year. And she went, I could just stick it on the Barclay card. I could just buy. I was like, well, what game is it? And she's Marvel versus Capcom, and I was like, yes, get me
In
that.
the arcade version? Oh, dude, yes. What?
I know. It's got 8 games in it. It's got Marvel vs. Capcom 1, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Children of the Atom, Marvel vs. Street Fighter, and other games that Marvel X whatever crossovers. I'm like, yeah, just get me that. That looks fantastic.
Yep.
So
winner.
Yeah, winner. We'll go for it. She's a bit upset that it's coming after Christmas. I said, I don't care. I said, at least I know I'm getting it, and it's
For real.
Yeah. And again, I'll probably have to pay it off on the Barclay card over the year, like I do with the club book. So it's just same kind of thing that you're doing, I'm doing with your present, you're doing with my present, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if there's any reason in the year to say this is probably going to be, there's no better time to buy this. There will be no better price. This is the time of the year, to stretch and be like, hey, this is the thing I really want. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's coming day and date. It doesn't matter if it's coming. If we can technically afford it in the moment, we will be able to afford it.
Yeah, we can't afford it, but it's like
enjoy.
Yeah. So I've got that to look forward to.
Excellent.
I think where my dad used to kind of fix old arcade machines. Well, I say old; they were new at the time. He would take me with him to kind of he'd work on like the old Pac-Man games, but I don't know how he did it. I mean, he obviously did something on it. He would sit me on the Pac-Man game and just kind of be on infinite loop of just, you wouldn't have to put any credits in. I would just sit there and play. And he would go off and fix all the fruit machines and the cigarette machines and anything else kind of thing. And I would just, so it all kind of goes back to that of like sitting and playing in arcades.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I worked with a guy a couple of years ago who was like, would like buy old arcade machines and like rip them apart and rewire them and like make new pieces for the the physical cabinets and stuff. And I was like, you have way more patience than I do and dexterity in your fingers.
My dad would always get there would always be a newspaper or kind of that would have listings at the back for new machines, refurbished machines, and ones that you could just kind of buy that were second hand. Like it's like, and I always dreamed of like flicking through and like calling up and getting one of these, but never was able to kind of do it because I was quite young at the time. So But I don't know where that newspaper kind of went. It was kind of a trade magazine, obviously, that he had for work. But
Yeah. Oh yeah. There was a place when I was in college that like I think they like both refurbished and sold old arcade machines. And of course, I was in college. I had no money and no room to put anything. But my roommate and I would go and look and just sort of drool over all the cabinets they had of just anything and everything under the sun. Old pinball machines, arcade cabinets, all sorts of stuff they had that had either been refurbished or needed to be refurbished, or they had bought from an arcade that was shutting down. Just tons of stuff, and I'm going, if I had the time, the room, the money, I would have loved to have gotten some of those. One of my uncles has an old skee ball machine. He used to work at Ocean City in Maryland on the boardwalk there, like on with all the arcades and stuff. And he would do that every summer, and had always wanted a skee ball game. And found again. I don't know where he found it. Somewhere on eBay, Craigslist, whatever. This is pre-Facebook Marketplace. That he found that somebody was selling. He's like, I'm going to buy that. I'm just going to my garage, and I'm going to be a happy man.
See, we didn't have a garage at home. My dad would just get these things, and they would be in our living room or under the stairs, because we'd have a spiral staircase, like an old-fashioned fire escape spiral staircase in the living room that would go up to the second floor. And he would have these. He would call them pop-pops, but they were like these stationary steam engines, little kind of things. We had about 10 of these things. You put water in, they chug round, and they have little belts and things on them. And he would be constantly working on them, fixing them and things. We had one-armed bandits in the front room. At one point, we had a proper jukebox, that like an old-fashioned jukebox that had like the lava lamp kind of goes over like a rainbow over the top of it. We'll play the records and things, and then we had an updated one at some point. And I don't know where he would get these things and why we would get rid of them, because we would have them for quite some time and then they would just disappear. So I think he would kind of just flog them on. And an old kind of style organ in the front room. He would always have like an electric organ. He would never play it. He couldn't play it, but he was fascinated with these electric organs. So we'd have different electric organs, to the point that they actually paid for my sister at one point to get piano lessons so that she would play this blooming organ, which was quite funny.
It sounds just sort of someone who just enjoyed tinkering, just whatever he could get his hands on. Yeah, just like what machine or game or whatever can I get my hands on? Can I take it apart, figure out how it works?
Yep.
And then repair it, sell it, and move on to the next thing.
We when I was living at home, we had something. It must have been about 100-foot garden, and at the bottom of the garden was my dad's shed. It was huge, and he would have like a model railway set up in there, and all his records in there. And that it got quite damp in there. So he then built an extension onto the side of the house that was another like workspace, and he would have proper like lifts in there for kind of getting machinery and things. And I was like, that then extended halfway down the garden to the point where the garden was just like this little square in the middle, and that my mum had no room to do any gardening and things like that. But he also rented out about 2 or 3 garages, because he was into building cars and Land Rovers and things. It's just like take up everywhere. And it was just, my house was constantly filled with all these different things. So I think that's why I'm a bit more of like, I like to keep things neat and tidy, and but it's just living at home, it's just like all over the place, all these things everywhere.
Yep. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. I can imagine just having come on when you're like, oh, new arcade cabinet, and new.
Yeah.
Here's an organ. Here's a player piano that showed up today. Here's a. That would be me if I had the ability to fix anything. I just like collecting things, and they would sit. The number of computers I had when my wife, now wife, met me, she's like, I was a little intimidated, and also wondered why do you have all these? Do these do things? Do they work? I'm like, oh yeah, they'll work. And that's my version of tinkering with old electronics. Going, I can rebuild it. I can make it better. Why did you buy this? It's a project to play with. What do you do with it? I don't know. Probably fix it up and sell it at some point. It's ephemeral. It just passes through.
Oh dear.
So, have you been playing anything since we're only tangentially Destiny this week? Have you been playing any more Marvel Rivals, Demon, or anything else?
No, I didn't. I haven't played any Rivals, and I haven't played any more Indiana Jones. But I
Hmm.
did make the mistake of buying my wife. I think it's called Planet Zoo on Xbox for Christmas,
Mhm.
which then means that the Xbox is going to be completely taken over with that for the next 2 weeks, which means I am then relegated to playing what I can on my laptop, which won't be Destiny, unfortunately. It will probably be Indiana Jones because I can play that via the cloud service. Because I really want to do that. I really
Mhm.
want to play it. My daughter is about 3/4 of the way through it, which is really annoying me. That she absolutely loves it. Apparently, it's like great. I don't get to play it. You get to play it.
Oh, I've seen a little bit of that. Have you played any Fallout games, or has anyone in your family? Because it from what little bit
No.
I've seen, it seems very Fallout esque in that you can collect everything. You wander around and you uncover and you collect and you pick up just artifacts, trinkets, whatever. Because
Yeah.
that is something that both my wife and I are a little hoardery about Fallout. Going, but I want to pick this up. Might I ever need this little bottle of glue? I don't know, but I want it. I want to have it. I want to bring it back. So if I ever need glue, now I've got it. And this
Yeah.
seems like it might fit that same niche of I just want to collect all the things. Maybe I never need it. Maybe I just sell it at some point. But I want to have it. I want to pick it up. I want to have it.
I
And I
think
want to
that the
hoard it
fun
back in
thing
my little
about
home.
the opening of it is fantastic because it takes you back to Raise of the Lost Ark as the tutorial. So
Oh,
you
nice.
start as with the mountain for the Paramount logo as the start screen, and then it kind of moves into that, and then it kind of takes you through the controls, following kind of line by line, and going through that kind of first adventure, and trying to get the idol and get out without the bowler crushing you, kind of thing. It's like, oh, that's
Oh,
really cool.
cool.
And then it moves into the actual opening of the story, and takes place I think it's a year after Raiders. I've played that much to kind of get to the opening part of it, because I think everybody was like, what happened between Raiders and Last Crusade with why Marion's not there, and I think this tries to explain what happened with them and their kind of dynamic, and what happened why Indy went off and did his own kind of thing. So it
Yeah.
kind of bridges the gap, which is quite cool. And I hope
Oh,
they
that's
do
cool.
more. I really do hope they do more,
Yeah.
because I think with
It
them,
looks beautiful and like a lot
yeah.
of fun.
So that's going to be. I mean, I am going to finish up my Dawning. I want to get that kind of finished, and I want to see if I can get some of those emblems. But I'm not going to be too sad if I don't get them, because as they said, they are a random drop, and just if you don't get them, you don't get them. It's
Yep.
maybe at the end of the day, it'll be one of those things that Bungie go, you know what, you played the Dawn, you might as well have all three, kind of thing.
Here you go. As a thank you for playing
Participation,
this.
yeah.
Yeah, you participated in each of the 3 weeks, at least a little bit. You've done 10 activities over the 3 weeks. Here's your emblems. Enjoy. Yeah, I mean they're not ones that I don't know. I'm not clamoring to get. I mean they're there and I'm enjoying playing the game, but I'm not like, oh, I need to have these emblems because again, I'm at the point now where you've given me the ones I wanted. You're gonna have to try really hard to pry them out of my cold dead hands.
Mm. So are you guys, are you staying at home for Christmas, or you're going away?
I might be now.
You
My
might be
truck's
now.
in the shop, so
Oh no.
they said they're not even going to hear anything back until Monday.
Oh, that's close.
I know. And if you travel too close to Christmas, then even gas stations start to shut down. And
One does
with
not
my
simply
truck,
travel
I
too
am
close to
absolutely going to
Christmas.
need gas on the way. So,
That's an interesting. Does for the majority of places, do they kind of just shut down Christmas for a couple of days, or is it just Christmas Day? Because over here it is just Christmas Day. Everything seems to be open on Boxing Day now, which is the day after for us. And it used to be, when I was younger, it would be most things close a half day on Christmas Eve. Christmas Day you would be closed, and then only select shops would be, your local newspaper place would be open till midday. You might have like a furniture place that would be doing their Boxing Day sale, would be open the next day, but most places would be closed for like 2.5 days, and then practically the same for kind of New Year's as well. But now it seems to move into this, we're open all the time except for Christmas Day. And even then, some places are like, oh, sod it, we're going to be open Christmas Day. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Do you have to? You're not an essential service. Do you really need to be? I mean, I'm like at the moment, I've been like my wife joked, she went, are you preparing for a zombie apocalypse or something? It's like, no, I'm just making sure that when I stay in, I'm staying in for 2 weeks and I don't have to go out.
I'm preparing for my own personal apocalypse. Yeah, I mean, I definitely remember growing up, like when I was younger, having to think like, okay, like because I would drive basically from one parent's house to the other parent's house, which are on opposite ends of the state of Virginia, north to south. So I would have to go, okay, I've got my gas, I've got this, because there would be maybe like big truck stops like on the major interstates. Those would usually be open Christmas Day, things like that. But basically everything else will be closed. Like you'll be like, no, you're doing your shopping. You've gone to the market. You've done your groceries, everything before the day of, because there would be nothing open. And I grew up in a one stoplight town, so there was nothing. I mean, there was doubly nothing open. And now part of it's because I'm in the DC area. Like I'm in a DC suburb, so there's just so much here and so many people here. Like there's always something open. Whereas, again, I don't know if it was different years ago or if it's just because I'm in such a big urban area that there's somebody open every day for everything. But I definitely didn't used to be like that. But yeah, now it's pretty much every day somebody's open doing something. Like maybe the grocery store is closed Christmas Day, but don't worry, we'll be open the day before and the day after because you absolutely need to go get whatever it is you could have bought the other 360 days of the year.
Yeah. Respawn, or was it like for you?
Sorry, my mom's on the phone. I didn't hear the question. What?
Basically, like are things are things open day of like in your driving like
Christmas Day?
like Florida, Louisiana
are going to be closed.
Yeah, and you're probably driving to like
Eve,
a little more rural area
lots
too.
Lots of things are closed, and the day after Christmas, I don't know, like maybe 25% of things are closed. But Christmas, most things are closed. Yeah, Christmas Eve and Christmas. So that's why if I can get my truck back before then, I really want to leave Monday, because if I leave Tuesday, odds are on the way up there, some of these gas stations I need to stop at might be closed. And
Mom's like, I'll tell you exactly which ones are open and closed. Yeah.
Mom has no idea what's going on. I've come across gas stations that have not been open.
Yeah, I really wish it would kind of go back to the old way of not being open and actually having time off to spend with your family. Or just having, not even if you don't want to spend time with your family, just having time off.
Yeah,
just would be quite nice.
Yeah, just the time away of. I mean, even like this week I've worked and I'm working a little bit next week. Like there's just like I'm working, but there's not everybody else is off. I'm basically working because I've used my leave up and don't have the days for a couple of these. I'm going, yeah, I'm working, but like there's no one else is going to be around. So the number of things I can do is fairly limited, and it's basically I'm here because I can't technically be off and get paid for it. So here I am, but it's like, is there any reason to this? Is there any benefit to being here and open this week? It's like no one's around. Like nothing's going to happen. Like I understand we need to have some warm bodies to respond to emergency stuff, but like beyond that, is there any reason to do this? There's nothing. Nothing matters. It'll be fine. Come back next year when we've had a break and aren't all burned out and exhausted.
I can't believe that you guys don't get like a second day after Christmas like we do.
I mean, the company I'm with now does, but we're also a fairly small company. But it's absolutely whoever you work for is whatever you get.
Yeah.
You must increase the stakeholder value and the shareholder value in all cases. You must max out the monies. Give the shareholders what they need. Yeah, no, I would love to have, some holidays and time off and, a government that's functional, but, we can't all have nice things.
No. I'm guessing he's still on the phone to his mum, bless him.
Yep. Yeah, as soon as I heard his mom chime in, I'm like, hey, that's also my mom being like, no. And she would then proceed to give me a rundown of like, everything open and closed and everything. No, you're going to take this route to this road and over here and do this. I'm like, yeah, no. We're staying in, basically my wife's sister, she lives like 20 minutes from here. So we're going to go see them and her son Christmas Day.
Yeah.
And then my mother, we're going to go make what should hopefully be a 4-hour drive. It'll probably be 5 or 6. I'm hoping less than that. Like the Friday after Christmas, I'm going to go see her for a long weekend down Southern Virginia. So we'll see how that is. I'm just sort of gritting my teeth and go, do I avoid all the major roads and just take back roads? Or do I say, let's see if people are going to be human beings and drive like not crazy people? So we'll see what happens.
Sometimes it's like, it can be like that. And sometimes it can be like, nope, I was wrong.
Yep. Yeah. It's like it might be we could just fly down there and be there in like 3.5, 4 hours, or last time we did it like a year ago, it was like a 12-hour drive because every road was just congested and there were just accidents everywhere. On a bright sunny day, the people just didn't want to drive their cars. Prefer to drive their cars into other cars instead. So you just never know.
No.
Which is when I yearn for trains, I got real spoiled being in Amsterdam going, you know how public transit works? And you can just move a lot of people through a series of trains and buses and trams? Man, that would be nice. That would sure be nice if I could do that. But we don't have nice things. Sorry, I would ask if you're going anywhere, but you've stocked up for 2 weeks. You're zombie apocalypse, so you're in. You're done.
I'm stocked up. I shocked my daughter this week because she finished off university early. So I was like, well, you can come and help me because, rather than your mum rushing around at the weekend, we will go out during the week and we will go and get bits and bobs and things. So it's, as I said, it's just been manic this week, going out and kind of going to one shop and getting all of the chocolates and the biscuits and stuff that you can actually store first. And then as you kind of get towards the end of the week, you kind of, right, I need the fresh stuff. And I'm like, the only thing that I'm now missing is fresh lettuce, because the local shop, for some reason, all of their lettuces are dated the 23rd. I'm like, it might be a possibility that it goes in the fridge and it stores until the 25th, because I want to make a nice little prawn cocktail as a starter before dinner. I don't know why my wife likes to have a prawn cocktail every Christmas before a roast dinner, but she seems to like doing it. So I thought I'll go out and get the prawns, and every year she gets to the point of I need to go and get fresh prawns, and she always tries to do it like 2 or 3 days before, and they were always sold out. So I thought, I'm gonna go and get some frozen ones, some really nice frozen ones, stick them in the freezer. They'll be there ready. A couple of bags of those.
Yep,
done,
they'll be
dusted.
there. It'll be good. Yeah,
got the avocados, got the lemons, got seafood dressing to go on it as well. It's just the lettuce that I'm now kind of waiting for. I mean, of all the stuff, she was like, have you got a cucumber? I'm like, do we really need I'd like a cucumber. I'm like, yes, but it's fresh stuff. And if I bought it the other day, it would be out of date. It'd be all squishy, but I don't know if it's going to last. So I'm going to wait until, so I got that today for her. It's like, oh, and could you get me some tea lights? I'm like, why do we need tea lights for Christmas? Well, because you'd like to put them round. Like we've got a raging fire. We now need tea lights as well. Oh, and can you get me some candles? I'd like these candles. Oh, for God's sake. I've done the majority of the shop this week, different places, and gone and got, made sure everybody's got all their presents, made sure everybody's it's like, I know everybody does it. You have the one cupboard or the one drawer that you're not allowed in until Christmas. That is the Christmas drawer. And because the kids get bigger and bigger, there's just they are like little animals. It's like every year, you're not allowed to touch this until the Christmas week. You're not. They now they've got a drawer that they use for just snacks and things. I had to buy them separate snacks to go in there so that they didn't touch the stuff in the Christmas drawer. It's like, oh dear.
Yeah, we were very bad growing up. My mom would have to take, my brother and I both would go looking, not really looking, but definitely looking to try to see where she had hidden things.
Yeah.
And we were both as taller than she was, so there was no putting things up high to keep them away from us. So she would hide things in the car or take them to work and hide them in her office where she worked. Wrapped to be if they're here, my kids cannot get to them, so I know they're safe.
Yeah. One year, I was telling my kids this. I said, you're not allowed to do this. I said, one year, me and my sister knew that we were getting a Nintendo Entertainment System for
Mhm.
Christmas. And I said, my mum and dad bought it early, but the mistake that my mum made was that she put it in the roof, and the roof was accessible because it was just a kind of door off to the side of their main bedroom.
Mhm.
And I knew where that was. And for a considerable amount of time before Christmas, I would get it out of the box, I would plug it into a TV, and I would play it with my sister. So I was quite well versed in Super Mario and Duck Hunt for quite some time before we actually got it at Christmas. But I think about 3 weeks before Christmas, my sister squealed and said that we'd been playing it, so it got hidden to a different place. I was like, "You're not allowed to do that." But yeah, it just made me laugh that the amount of times we got it out of the box, plugged it all in, and then you'd hear my parents downstairs, "Quick, put it all back again," because we'd have to do it in my sister's room because my sister's room was upstairs, my room was downstairs. So.
Oh yeah, I remember. I still remember the morning my brother and I woke up to the Super Nintendo, sitting downstairs on our TV, set up on playing the little Mario intro loop.
Wow.
And we had no idea. And this was after my parents were like, no, we're not going to do video games. We're not going to do this. Because like my friend had a Nintendo, and our babysitter at the time, she had one that we would play sometimes. And they were like, no, absolutely not. We're not going to use this. We're not going to use this. Yeah, like not going to happen. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. And then they were like, this is what you're getting. This is it. This is the gift. And we're like, this is amazing. Like, this is the best Christmas ever. Like, we need nothing else. We've got Mario, we've got this. And then I remember, like, for the next, 2 years of birthdays, my brother and I because we're 5 years apart, I'm trying to play the game of, like, okay, well, if I sort of pool my little bit of money, for allowance or whatever, doing jobs around the house, and you sort of pool yours, we could probably afford one game, like, for our collective birthdays. So let's see if we can try to agree on what we want to buy, and then see if we can go to that, because they were all they were still like $60 and something like that, which to us at that point a pile of money that we did not have.
Oh yeah.
So it was like, okay, it's like, which game do we want? Which game do we think will be good? And of course, there's no internet, there's no seeing what things are. So it's like let's go see what happens.
So you were talking about, like, I caught the tail end of that. Are you one of those families that had to share the games and the consoles and stuff?
Oh yeah, always.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, like there's only two of us, but yeah, it was very much like Super Nintendo wise, it was like, okay, we can go buy a game. Which a game do we want to buy and hope that it's good, because that's the new game we're gonna have for the next however many months.
Oh yeah, we used to have for Christmas, because again, the same thing. We would get one console.
Yeah. One. I know.
And you had to share it, right? So yeah, it was basically what console can you all agree on? Because that's going to be it, kind of thing.
See, we got a Super Nintendo before we got a Nintendo, because we just couldn't afford to get a Nintendo beforehand. But then, I got a second-hand Super Nintendo, which I still got, and we asked for like the Nintendo at Christmas because I think it was more reduced.
Yeah.
But I always wanted that Robbie the Robot thing that did the thing, and I never got it. It was just
I've seen those, like in the last couple of years, like in thrift stores or antique stores, but they're usually in antique stores, and they're usually priced with antique store prices, which is to say way too much for what they are oftentimes, especially for things like that. Because I keep seeing those and I'm going, I would like to own one of these. I want to own it. I want to play it. I want to experience it. But I just cannot justify the price. But yeah, I remember seeing those the first time in some magazine, probably Nintendo Power magazine at some point, and just going, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
In your life.
Retro
That's
these days
statement.
seems to have kind of skyrocketed.
I was a kid, so at that point it was.
A lot of retro stuff has really come back, and you see a lot of like cartridges now going for like way stupid prices. I'm like, yeah,
truly. My best friend growing up, he had a Nintendo, and I swear, like every single game for the Nintendo that came out, I think he had, if not all of them, very close to like everything. Because I think he was also a big collector, and yeah. And I wonder, like, I lost touch with him after school, but like I wonder, I'm like, do you still have that collection, or have you in recent years sold it for a giant pile of money? Because part of me hopes you either have it and still enjoy it, or we're like, I could make a lot of money if I just sold this, and then funding my life.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that I got when we were younger as a Christmas present, that you brought up the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever heard of this. Most people haven't, because apparently it had a very limited run. But we had something called a Sega CDX. Okay? Now, this wasn't the Sega CD. People got that confused. This is Sega CDX. What's really cool about it is there was like a base, right? And you could put the cartridge in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could also put CDs to the right of the cartridges, right?
Yep.
But what was really crazy is this Sega CDX, you could remove the CD portion of the base and take it with you, like to play music CDs, which was unheard of back then. It was crazy, you know?
Oh, interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wasn't
Pull
that
up a
was
picture of it.
wasn't that the Mega Drive? But you could upgrade it to a 32, which then made it to the.
There was no upgrades, bro. What?
No, I'm sure it was. There was like an upgrade cartridge to it. Well, over here, I think there was. That you put an upgrade
as far
cartridge.
as I'm aware, at least back then, I don't remember any kind of a cartridge. It was just really dope because I would take off the CD thing and use it to play CDs on my way to school because I had to ride public transportation, not a school bus, and it would skip all the time, dude. Like this thing, would it play music CDs? Yes. Was it meant for you to take it up, move it around, and play music CDs?
No.
Also, yes. But I didn't like it.
Yeah, no, you had to keep them flat, didn't you? Because or you had to get the you'd have to get a Discman that had like the little sponge thing as you kind of pull down the lid, and the anti-skip protection.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, can you do this? Yes. Do you like doing it? Absolutely not. No, please don't.
Are you going to have a good experience with it? Not so much.
But you could do it. That was the thing.
Oh dear. Well, I think
I'm dying, by the way. You should know this.
Respawn's dying. I suppose maybe we should just draw a line under it there and just say that's the end of the show.
Yeah.
Till next week when we do the Christmas special, I guess, right?
This is the Christmas special.
Oh, is
Someone lobbied the British man into saying, we don't have to do this every week. We were going to
do. Yeah, we were going to do a doubles episode this week.
Who on earth would say something so stupid?
We were going to do the double episode this week because you both said you would be available this week. Then you decided you might want to go to the Bayous a day early. So that really confused what we were doing. So then we've just gone, you know what?
Well, to be fair, I didn't mean to do it. I just forgot. It's just how it is.
You forget that you record a podcast on Saturday. I understand.
Okay, listen here, princess. All right?
Yeah.
Nobody's trying to hurt your feelings. All right? It wasn't intentional.
It was intentional. It's always intentional.
It was not intentional. I promise you it was not.
It was
so
intentional.
Because
he took it personal.
You're not going to be available.
He did take it personal. That's obvious. Yes. But
you're not going to be available next weekend. Peroty's not going to be available next weekend. I'm the only one here.
I might be available next weekend. I don't know the plans. It just depends on this truck, man. What's the 29th? I know I have to be back before the 29th. So the 29th is going to be a Sunday. Yeah. So I might be driving on the 28th.
Exactly.
Here, I'll be in the car. He'll be in the car. You can be at home, not in the car. We'll do a 2 cars and a house podcast. It'll be great.
2 cars and a house. That
my wife like it's may my wife may also murder me if I try to record a podcast while driving.
Yep. Not going to happen. So the first time in 5 and a bit years, we're going to have a week off. It's weird. I don't know what I'm going to do next week because normally I get up from my little sleep after being at work all evening and all night, and I have to come record my podcast. And then by the time I've finished the podcast, I go off to work again and repeat the cycle for Sunday. And next week I won't have to do that. I don't know what to do.
He's going to have some downtime. He's going to be stuck with his thought. He's going to be able to take a break and go, breaks. This is kind of
This is what peace feels like.
This is what it feels like to have not created a monster of a podcast that we do every week for the whole 365 days. And then when we do come back, there'll still be no TWAB. So We'll have to do something to entertain the peoples. Otherwise,
Interpretive
it'd
dance.
be like, interpretive dance. Yeah, we could do that live on stream.
I think we should just do dog here. We'll plan a live event. We'll set up doggo cams. People can watch the dogs. We'll talk nonsense. It'll be a good time.
Okay, good plan. So let's thank the Patreons and go off on our merry ways, eh?
Thank you, patrons, for all the things you do, don't do, wish you could have done, will do in the future. All these things.
Yeah, what he said. And then I'm also going to say thank you for those who cannot threaten with a good time. Mister who does not deserve the rolling R's, Renard Calant, who's decided he wanted not to be threatened with a good time because he really wanted to respawn to shepherd him through that raid, along with K4 and Zep Orbit. You can't threaten either of them. We're getting close to our raid team here. Respawn. We're up to 4 now, so we're getting closer. Our Otter Dance Troop is a little less dancing though, with the Scarlet KM and Dedicated AM64 holding it down. And our grenade throwers of Golden God, Noble, Basically Assault, Fire Squad 1688, and Coderson 105 still throwing grenades. Their arms never tire. They have taken Shax's words to heart. And Deacon, down there with the Day 1 raid team of Dimwee, Gravy Jeff, and PB Hype, man, we put them together with the Respawns, Can't Run with a Good Time raid team, and we have the ultimate raid team. It would be incredible. So thank you to all of our patrons, current, past, present, future. Thank you for listening. Thank you for giving us a reason to get up every Saturday and record the show and talk about this game that we all fell deeply, deeply in love with and can't seem to find our way out. Seem to be trapped in the tower. I'm not sure if these doors still open or not, but if someone can maybe come by and just rattle the locks and see if we can get out at some point, we'd appreciate it.
Lockpick skill is not high enough for that chest yet.
Too bad.
I know.
Well, we're going to be out touching some grass next week, so I urge you to find some grass or a different console, or just maybe you too can go get your Trials game to the Lighthouse, or complete a 12-man excision, or finally realize you need that one last weekly challenge in Dares of Eternity, and that'll be your week to do it. So until then, thank you for joining us. Your Titans are Peroty and Nitedemon. Your hunter is no one responds in real life. You can find this show on YouTube, which is really where you should go. It has all the show notes, all the live versions, all of Respawn, or not Respawn's best guesses, Nitedemon's best guesses. There's 2 of you. You sound and look very different, but yet my brain goes, no, you're the same people. You're just voices on the internet. Go to YouTube. All the videos are there for all the things. Follow, hit the bell. You'll know when the show goes up, when the rotations are up, what you should buy, and how good the Iron Banner is going to be. You can email the show, 2titansanahunter@hotmail.com. You can find the podcast wherever you get your podcasts, because we're on everything, everywhere, all across the world. Go to 2titansanahunter.com for all the show notes, all the things we talk about, all the links. And everything we've ever said, it's all up there. And if you'd like to join the Otter Dance Troop, threaten us with a good time, throw more grenades, join our Patreon, patreon.com/TTAH. If you want to buy 19-minute coffee for all the good video editing work he does, or just because of how good his voice sounds, coffee.com/2titansanahunter. And if you want the thrill of live action, spicy language, when he remembers and is in a place with good internet, twitch.tv/no-one-responds to real life. And who knows, maybe at the end of the year, twitch.tv/2titansanahunter will do something. We don't know what we're doing. You don't know what we're doing. Tune in and find out.
We don't know what we're doing.
Until next week, Respawn, safe travels. Demon, safe hoarding. And I'll talk to you guys later. Say goodbye to the people.
Let over that day.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, happy holidays, ho, ho, ho. We wish you a merry destiny. We wish you a merry destiny. We wish you a merry destiny and a working voice box.